Yo, what's going on?
What up? What up?
Yeah, we live right now, so I'm just waiting for K Dot to get in here and whoever else get started.
All right.
Ah, man, what a fucking weekend, man.
What?
Nah, it's a lot of shit, a lot of shit, a lot of bullshit. But
Mm.
happy to finally get to this fucking live stream. For people that are watching right now, this is the final AOT live discussion. Attack on Titan is one of the, if not the greatest show of all time. You know what I'm saying? And end of an era. It's kind of crazy. It's still kind of surreal that it's like this ended last week, and it's still like I'm still thinking about it. So and I can only imagine what it's gonna be like 5 years, 10 years from now. Like a lot of anime, like back in like the '90s, or like the popular anime that still get talked about, and like what animes are going to be influenced by AOT and stuff in the future. And
Hmm.
how you, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm doing well.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
I mean, to your point, if we're gonna talk about the legacy of AOT, I mean, I thought that may be one of your questions, but just to open up about it, you know, it's gonna stand out as just one of, like you said, one of the greatest shows in general, and clearly the greatest anime of all time. I say clearly, even though it is still subjective, but I think its cultural impact is a little bit understated. I think it's as big as a deal as the big three or Dragon Ball Z as far as
Yeah,
its cultural impact beyond anime. It may not it may not seem that way, but I think that will continue to grow over time um,
yeah,
as it leaks more and more into the mainstream. It's already there, but I think it'll eventually rival Naruto, um, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, and Bleach as a mainstream anime.
yeah. That's what's interesting about it, because it seems to happen with a lot of anime. They're really popular at their time when they're going on, and then they become even bigger. Like Naruto's very very influential. I'm not going to like understate that at all neither, because like you definitely see the influences in a lot of current anime now and new gen. And that's kind of usually how it is. Like a lot of them kind of take things from the big three into a lot of these newer, new gen anime and stuff. Because I wouldn't really consider AOT new gen considering the time that it came out at. But I don't know who's this. It's Dot. Yo, what up, Dot? But yeah, I wouldn't consider like AOT like new gen. New gen to me is like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, stuff like that that just came out like last like 3 years or something like that. But that's still always like kind of in a debate within itself, like what's considered new gen and stuff like that.
I would
Because
consider I would consider Attack on Titan new gen, not because even though it's been around technically for a long time, the anime has been around for a long time. I would consider it new gen because it's the biggest anime since the big three. So you kind of
hmm
had Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon that kind of broke the door down in the West. So that was kind of
yeah,
a mainstream thing. And then you had the big three that kind of broke the door down. And since then, we really hadn't gotten anything as big as AOT since then. So it's
yeah.
like the biggest since the big three. So in that regard, I
And
would consider it.
I
Um,
put I would put because this is kind of like a lot of people. Well, I would say probably uh. No, not probably, but like Demon Slayer is definitely new gen. It's
mhm.
still, even though the manga's been out, and like I said, like with say they were AOT, like AOT's manga's a lot older than the anime and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just an interesting kind of conversation that always gets kind of brought up. But this year for anime has just been incredible. Like this has just been like just just solid. all the way down the line and stuff. You know, especially with Mappa, I want to give them a shout out because they went crazy this year, starting off with Vinland Saga, then giving us the first half of part three of AOT, and now they're doing like Jujutsu Kaisen going into next year, and they did the final episode of Attack on Titan and stuff. And man, that's a lot of fucking work. That's a lot of fucking work. And they definitely have made the name for themselves like this just in this year alone. But and we just been getting so many like high quality animes, and it's dope to see that AOT for me has like really ended on a very high note. So, Dot, you there? You probably stepped away. Give me 1 second. Thought I had to sneeze, but let's see, we got General Grievous salutes. You're new. Never
All right,
seen
that
you
fixed it
here.
out. I was adding my mic in the wrong input.
I'm gonna call you AJ because I'm not gonna try to pronounce that and make myself look foolish. I'm gonna call you AJ. But salute you in here. What are you saying, Doc?
No, I was saying I had my mic in the wrong input, but I was here. I was here the whole time. I thought I was talking when you were responding. I was like, "Oh, what's going on? My mic on."
Yeah, yeah. But how you feel about AOT ending and just the state of anime right now?
Man, I'll just say this: no other anime right now could really compare to what this did. You know, I think this show, ranging from 2013 to now, really was that it was that big. It was like the Dragon Ball of its time, or the Naruto of its time. Now Naruto had its moment, and AOT had its moment, and just like any other show that comes out every blue moon with other shows, there's one that's going to shine. I think AOT was that. I think overall, you know, I just think overall that this was worth the wait, the build up, and everything. The way Isayama played it with the ending stuff, he, even though I feel like this might be the final time he's ever going to touch this show, he is adding more additions to the manga, but he did leave setup for a sequel if he wanted to, which I think if he does do it, give it some years. Don't wait 2 years, 3 years, like at
Yeah,
least
don't pull a Baruto and just like rush that shit out. Even though I hear
exactly
like
20 years.
Baruto is getting going crazy, but like it took a minute. But
Well,
I
well,
feel
well,
like if
well, well, Boruto came out like 2 months after Naruto Shippuden finished, but even then, that's like that's
yeah,
too
that's
quick.
crazy.
I
Yeah, like
get you want to capitalize on something, but it's like give it some time. That's why
yeah,
remember when Dragon Ball Super was announced, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh!" And Dragon Ball Super came out like at least
half baked.
30 something. Well, the amount of time you compare to when Z ended to where Super
Yeah,
started, that's like at least about 20 something years in between. That's a huge gap of time, but the anticipation was there for it's like, yo, they're finally bringing it back. So I think Isayama wants to approach it and do a sequel, which he did set up. Give it about
I give it
10,
10 years. Yeah, get 10 years.
10 years.
2033.
Well, a sequel. I don't know. I don't know if I would want to see a sequel as much as I would want to see a prequel, because once Aaron dies, nobody goes in that
Spoilers.
creek. Okay, well, I thought this
No,
was a
no, no. I'm
calm
just saying.
discussion.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But like,
Okay,
we are going to be talking about spoilers here, people. Come on now.
okay,
It's enough times passed. We could, what I'm saying. We're good. Continue.
okay. What up, Kate? I didn't get to say
Was
that,
good,
but
Guru.
yeah, I was thinking, just to be brief, when Aaron dies, we see nobody goes into that little tree for what appears to be a few generations. So
Like
even though
2,000 years.
I would like to see that story because it seemed interesting. I think the Great Titan War and
Mm.
the fall of Marley and some of that stuff with King Fritz, I think I would want to see that more than I would want to see a sequel. And be that as it may, you could release that quicker.
Yeah,
You
make a
could
movie.
do that quicker. I agree that they should take some time on a sequel, but you could release the prequel quicker than a 10 or 15 year span.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because even exploring the Ackermans and stuff like that, there's so much world that they haven't touched on, and even like they can go back to the manga, the Before the Fall and whatnot. They could do that.
Yeah, like
That's
we
actually-
like
What
long
up, Zach?
before,
Hey
like long
man, what's up,
before the
everyone?
time.
What up?
Well, I think you said what it was, Perp, but there's like a prequel manga, but it's like,
Yeah, Before the Fall or something like that. It was
but
like
see,
before they.
it's not even canon, right? So, but I think they should take elements of that non-canon story and explore that, because I'm not sure if you read it, but there's a Titan in that story that is on straight up demon time. It's not a Titan shifter, but it's a Titan that's like super intelligent, and it literally in some moments will there was a moment in the manga where it took a scouts member, and just to piss off the other scouts members, it literally threw the scout member over the wall. It was hanging him up and stuff. It's trying to scare him and stuff. It was crazy. And I think they should explore some stuff like that. Just
there's a
do
lot.
like it can be a prequel movie, show, very short series. But I think they should get map on it, do like prequel movies and stuff of the
But
war.
I want to just ask that. I want to ask Zach, how you feel about AOT ending and the impact it's going to leave over time?
Oh man, I am very, very sad that it's ending. This has been such a wild ride. I think that since they stick the landing, is probably going to be my favorite anime, because from the animation, the characters, the story, and everything like that, it just worked for me. In terms of impact, man, that's hard, because AOT has been out for what, a couple years now, like maybe
10
like
years.
this anime. Yeah, the anime's been going for like 10 years, all the breaks. And we haven't seen many of the copycats, or I don't want to say copycats, but things that are similar pop.
Yeah, that normally happens in anime. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, normally you'll see like Naruto came out, and then we got a bunch of Naruto clones that are popping, Dragon Ball Z, there's a bunch of Dragon Ball clones, and they're kind of popping too. So I haven't seen anything that come out to show that like someone is going to be able to do another Attack on Titan like thing where the mainstream attaches to it. But maybe it might be 5 years down the line when Attack on Titan is kind of like out of people's heads a little bit. So
Yeah, I would say the next big one, I would definitely say is probably Jujutsu Kaisen, just because season 2 is going fucking insane. Like season 2 going
Gotcha.
insane right now. But there's a bunch of other ones too, like Chainsaw Man, that had a pretty strong first season as
I
well.
like Chainsaw Man.
You got you still got Vinland Saga going, because I feel like that's the only thing narratively that's closer to AOT, like within that style. But
Yeah.
it's up in the air for anybody, and that's what I said. Like, a new anime could come out and just be the next big thing, and that's what I love about anime. But let's dive into this. They have like we're talking about part 3. They had like 5 chapters. I thought there were 6. I don't know why, but we start off with the rumbling itself, and man, this was dope. Do you want to start off, Guru? What's your thoughts on the rumbling and how you depicted it?
I mean, we what can be said about this? This was just perfection. I mean, absolute perfection. This episode was probably one of the greatest episodes in the history of television, and also in the history of anime. And the way they depicted the rumbling, because I read the manga, which I actually regret reading. I wish the anime would have been my first and only experience of this content. But the way they depicted what was in the manga was spot on. And the fact that Mappa took their time to really animate and bring to life such a destructive force as the rumbling, it just really they really captured the essence of what this was all supposed to be about, from Hanji's death to the actual trampling of Marley. So I mean, nothing more can be said about this other than it's an absolute 10 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, and I really liked how they started off with like the young Mikasa saying like, "I'll see you later, Aaron," and stuff, and that goes all the way back into like part two, and just like there's so many full circle moments. But Zach, what was your thought on chapter one with the rumbling and just seeing how that was depicted?
So ever since Aaron became a bad boy, I was like pro him. You know, I was like, yeah, rumble these dudes. I was just all in my head. I was like, yeah, you know, I get it. Like all these things that I've seen them do to Paradise Island up until this point, I was like, yeah, just wipe them out. But then I saw the actual rumbling, and I was like, ooh, maybe this is not a good idea. This is a lot worse than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna just be like that place they visited where they were trying to give those people a chance, and they were like, no, screw all the people in Paradise Island. I thought they were just gonna rumble them, but then it was like, oh no, they're rumbling the whole world. Oh, that's not great. That's a lot of innocent people dying. But the episode itself was phenomenal. It was just, I think up until that point, Attack on Titan started getting more actiony, which is fine. I love the action in it, but the beginning of it felt like a horror series. Always felt like a elevated zombie anime, and I think that was the first time in a while where I felt that feeling from season one, this daunting feeling of we can't stop the Titans. Like eventually people started to be able to kill the Titans easy. We started getting too many Titan killers, and then we saw these regular people who are not used to it just get trampled. It was amazing.
Yeah. How is your thoughts on this first chapter? Like the rumbling and the depiction of that, and the destruction, madness, everything.
Well, first things first, stay humbled or get rumbled. You know, that just got to say it all top.
Hilarious.
But nah, this was, look, as messed up as this whole situation is, like visually from a visual standpoint, it's probably the most beautiful looking scenes I've seen in anime in a long time. Yes, people got stomped on. It is what it is. That some of them deserved it anyways, but that's besides the point. But just seeing the amount of desperation and from people, especially I believe Ravi and his little brother just trying to hide the money and stuff, and they're running, and then one of the brothers running back for the money, and it's like, you know, you're just looking at them all running away, and it's like that none of that stuff matters. Keep running, but no matter how hard they run, they will never ever outrun these Titans, no matter what. The only way you're getting away from them is if you can fly, you know. But other than that, there's literally no way out. And that's why when we get to the second part, I'll bring it up. But that's why I say this was absolutely, you know, if you look at what Isayama written for us and gave us, this was the only possible thing that made sense for Eren to do, for him to get what he wanted, right? Because, you know, I was trying to think of alternatives, like what else could he have done? What else? Like, you know, this is messed up, but for the outcome he wanted, this made the most sense. You know, take out some of our enemies, limit them to the point where we are limited, and also, in a way, I'll wait for it, but Eren did play it fair by doing what he did at the end. I'll get to that when we talk about the second chapter of, you know, final episode. But now the rumbling was beautiful. Oh yeah, and Eren, and this is the other crazy thing about the show overall. It has to do with this first part, the rumbling. Eren was never free in the sense that he thought he was free. And when I was looking at these last couple episodes, and one thing I did question, like, man, why does Titan look like that and stuff? Why couldn't Eren just make a cool Titan and stuff? And you look at his Titan and you look at what he's seeking, Eren is a puppet. If you look at the way his Titan is set up, he's held by strings, he's held up like a puppet. He's over saying, I'm free. And in reality, he's really not free. You know, he had to follow a path that he really didn't. Well, him and Ymir was conspiring, but mainly it was all Ymir. But you know, that's up to debate on who created what outcome. But still, Eren was never truly free. So him stomping out these people is probably the only bits of freedom he thinks he has. But other than that, he is not free. He thinks he's free right here, but he's really not free. This is just his weird, sick, twisted form of freedom, which is very selfish of him. But you know, this is what he thinks freedom is. When Armin showed him his book, that's what he
changed his life.
to achieve. Yeah, it changed everything. If Armin ever showed Eren that book, things would have probably been different.
That's why I was like, this scene was crazy. Now that like we got more context to it, because like it's like you're seeing it flash between the rumbling and him saying like, "Oh, this is freedom." Like this is like what he like. This is what he kind of sees, and the whole and when he's saying like, "Oh, this is the view we finally met," right, Armin, and then like you see that Armin's in the paths, and you're like, "What the fuck is he doing there?" And then we go to the boat, and like that ties all the way into part 2. I was like, "Wow, that's crazy," and we just see it like just kind of like the buildup of them just getting ready to, you know, go ahead and face Eren, and how Armin kind of put a lot of this stuff into motion, like using the explosives later on and whatnot, and just the whole conversation between Annie and Mikasa talking about are you going to be able to kill him? Because like that's a constant question that Mikasa gets asked, like, you gonna be able to kill him? And she's like, no, I'm just gonna bring him home. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it is really deep though. Like, and Falco's just kind of just thrown into this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But yeah, let's talk about like the big part of part 1 though, is Hanji's death though. This was crazy though. This was definitely a very impactful scene and whatnot for not only Hanji but also Levi in this moment. You know what I'm saying? Because he's talking about, oh, give your heart and stuff. Zach, how'd you feel about this scene?
Felt like she was the right character to do this. Someone that was obsessed with the Titans. She didn't really have like a character arc or anything in the show that much. She was like a fun character, and she was needed in parts. But she was like the most skilled. She was obsessed with Titans. It just made sense for her to go. She was going to be needed towards the end in retrospect. But I thought the way she went out was badass. And I really, really was sad that one of the OGs died. But also I'm glad that she went out in a way that was kind of respectful. And she didn't just get like picked up by her foot and swallowed. She like helped the team and went out like a badass.
Word. Guru, how'd you feel about this whole scene and stuff, like Hanji making that ultimate sacrifice?
I feel like it was perfect. I mean, I feel like it was perfect. I think she did. I see what you mean by she didn't have a character arc as far as a big character arc in relationship to the entire plot of the show. But I think the woman who fought those Titans at the end was different than the Hanji we met initially. I think she did go on a bit of a journey, and then ultimately to be selected as the leader of the Scouts by Erwin, bestowed a level of power on her, and she kind of had to live up to that. But she really kind of kept failing to do so. So this was a bit of a redemption for her in a sense that she, sacrificed herself to allow the Scouts to, continue to stop the rumbling. So, like I said, you're right. She didn't have really a big arc in relation to the plot, but I think she did have a bit of an arc, and this kind of culminated everything about her. In the moment where she looks up and she looks onto the beauty of the rumbling. Like, this is actually pretty beautiful if you think about it. And I can relate to her that way because I kind of look at things scientifically that way. So I see where she's coming from. And then a lot of badass moves, and then she was whooping ass going through there like Spider-Man through New York, and taking care of business, and then burned to death. And it was just it was so well done too by Mappa. So I absolutely love this scene.
Yeah, and the fact that like she wakes up in the afterlife and sees Erwin and all her other comrades, and then you see Sasha kind of like off into the corner and stuff like that was heavy. That was crazy.
Yeah.
and then you see everybody's emotional reaction to it. They don't really show like you don't hear them cry. You hear the music playing while everybody's kind of distraught and stuff. Like, and so this is where um they start to kind of form up a plan. Like, oh, how do we stop Aaron? You know what I'm saying? And Levi was the one to say, "Yo, if we kill Zeke, we could stop the rumbling." Which we'll come back to that with part 2 because it makes sense. And just this whole like PSA thing that like Aaron does in the past, that shit was badass. Saying like, "Yo, like I you can come fight me, you know, say it's up to you. You can do what you want." And that pretty much leads them into battle and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Armin kind of like, you know, gets himself together. He is the leader now, you know what I'm saying, in a sense. And, you know what I'm saying, that leads us right into the second half that just dropped like last week. I don't know if K Dot's back yet, but I'll probably wait for I'll probably come back to him about this. But I really liked how this started off with chapter 3, the Battle of Heaven and Earth. That's a great title too. You know, it's just this is just all action. You know what I'm saying? Armin just getting straight violated, like, cause they like Ymir didn't have to go that far, bro. Like, you got yoked up. So now they have to rescue Armin. It's almost like a rescue mission, but also having to find Zeke or find Aaron within the body of the founding Titan and stuff like that. So how did y'all feel about that? I'll start with Guru.
With this element, the chapter, what's the difference between chapter 3 and chapter 4? Because I can't
Well,
really.
chapter 4 was it was called The Long Dream. That was like as soon as this action stuff got done, like you saw that Armin was in the past with Zeke.
Okay,
that's where chapter 4 starts.
So let's just speak to the action there. We need to really have a conversation about how badass Mikasa was, and she was really, really on point in that motherfucking battle. I mean, we've seen her be on point before, but it begs the question for me: who will really win in a battle between Levi and Mikasa? Your instincts say Levi, but I'm not 100% sure he will really defeat Mikasa. I'm not for sure, and she showed it with some of the executions and moves and things that she was doing during this battle. I mean, she's really probably the most premier scout between her and Levi, and I wouldn't really know who's number one.
I like Levi though too, because even him injured, he was parrying with fucking Jaw Titans and shit. That was fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I was just like, but I would say the person that really stole the show with this scene, with this chapter, is Peak. Like how Peak was just going in and out of her Titan. That was fucking sick. And like be able to, because a lot of people were shitting on like the Cart Titan and stuff. I was like, man,
gave her moment.
Yeah, she was just going in and out. She's like, I could do this all day, like also Captain America.
The first time she did it was hilarious. Running down the little saber thing, and she looked so scared. She's like, I gotta hurry up and change.
Yeah, like everybody, and to your point, Guru, I feel like everybody like really like showed up. Like even John showed like why he was at the top of his class as far as like the 3DM gear and shit. Like that motherfucker was moving. Reiner, like he was sick and tired of losing. He was putting hands on a lot of these different Titans, and the fact that we got to see
I ain't gonna lie though. Look,
what
Reiner, you know that fight scene with Reiner is probably one of the best fight scenes he had. Hey, but you know I still got my beef with Reiner because Levi and Mikasa was still doing better than him. I'm like, all right, bro, it's your time to shine.
Yeah,
we're letting Levi and Mikasa cook him. I'm like, bruh, if you get injured one more time, Reiner,
the armor just getting injured don't make no sense.
Yeah, but he was kind of getting whooped on though. I think they whooped him out of his armor at one point.
Yeah, they
his armor.
Yeah, like because he got distracted by Bertolt and shit. Like, and Bertolt came out and like smashed the fuck out of him. He was about to fall. John caught him and stuff like that. But but yeah, I really like the fact that we get to see a lot of the other past Titans and just their forms and how like unique they are. Like different Beast Titans, different. You know what I'm saying? And it goes to show you that like imagination plays a big part on your transformation. Sort of like how Zeke, like Zeke's whole connection to that monkey. He wanted to be. That's why his beast titan looked like that. Um,
Mhm.
so you see all these different Warhammers. You see the Warhammers are nice though. Like they have some really cool designs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Zach, how did you feel about this whole action sequence and stuff like that?
Blew my mind. I was engrossed the whole time. I was like, okay. At first, I was like, okay, what are they gonna do? Are they just gonna go and separate, and then maybe Aaron finds a way to like move around, or like the Beast Titan starts throwing stuff at them? I thought it was gonna be basic, but when these Ghost Titans start showing up, because that's the best thing I could call them, I was like, oh hell no! I was like, they just don't get a break. Like, can we
Right.
just have a moment where we had something? This is what we're doing right now. Is not even easy. Can we get a moment just to pull this off without any crazy things happening? I mean, no. Attack on Titan does not allow that to happen. And I thought that the way it was paced in sequence, where it was like once they figured out how to overcome something, something else kept coming up until the bird came. And I thought all that was amazing.
Yeah, like what Falco comes in clutch and stuff, and because
Yeah.
because Picasso was about to just be like, "Yo, I'll take you all on" and shit. I was like, man,
She was about to go to town, bro. She was about to go to town on their ass.
Yeah, but that one, I guess it's the cart. That would be the cart, whatever that was. When they were trying to chase that
The
thing.
boar,
Yeah, they
whatever it
didn't
was.
even know what the hell it was. It was like a packy or some shit. I don't know what the hell.
They said it was like a copy or something.
Yeah, something like that. But that shit was fast, bro. The fact that you had Annie having to do like an alley oop and shit. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, she had to do this whole fucking like alley oop to like just
Yeah, to throw
swing.
Mikasa. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was crazy.
that was
Yeah.
great. And her fucking blades broke and she got slapped, bro. Like, yo, so like that's what I said. Like every time, like to Zach's point, every time you felt like a bit of hope, so I come slap them down, like they'll get overwhelmed again and stuff. So it's like you never know what's gonna happen, who's gonna die and stuff. Like the stakes are at an all time high. Like any like misstep, or even Levi said, like at my best, like we shouldn't rush into this, or we got to really think about this, and you know what I'm saying. That was fucking crazy.
Hold on, let's not go too far past Annie though, because Annie was fucking whooping some ass out there too.
Yeah.
Shout out to Annie.
She did like some heel shit to the one what was that? I think it was an armor titan or some shit like that. And just that was crazy.
That was the armor titan. She did that too. She put in work. But I'll say this to give both Annie and Reiner credit, because I ain't trying to dismiss both of them. They was putting in work. Like I said, Reiner probably had this fight he had here with those Warhammers, probably the best fight Reiner ever been in this whole entire series. But this is actually Pieck, Annie, and Reiner's first time. Yeah, they went up with Aaron and the Colossal. Well, they really went up with Aaron. That's really their only opponent, and they probably sparred with themselves as Titans. But this is truly their first time going up against fellow Titan shifters. I'm not talking about like them pure Titans and stuff. Those Titans, Aaron can smack them down. They're easy to smack down if you're a Titan shifter. But this is their first time going head to head with other Titans with just as much experience, and they pretty much held their own. I give them props for that. This is like a first thing for them.
If I had to
one second. Shout out to Low Key for the $2 super chat. What's a good panel? Salute, Perp. Appreciate it.
What up?
Good.
I would say if I had to give out grades though, I would have to kind of drop Reiner grade a little bit because he was getting whooped on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I would have to drop his grade. I would have to up Annie's grade, because if I'm not mistaken, that'll be her first transformation since season 2?
Yeah.
This is nothing like Digimon for adults. Nothing like Digimon for adults.
No.
She also transformed in episode 27. Can't forget that, when they was beating up the Jaegers.
Okay. I was trying to think like when the last time she transformed.
It was.
She hasn't done it often since she's been
Yeah.
crystallized. So,
but it was when she fought Aaron technically, and that's like her fifth year or last time. I kind of don't count the Jaegerist thing because like all she did was transform and kind of get beat up pretty quick. But that's because she didn't know nothing about the those thunder spears. Like that was new for her to run into.
Okay.
Yeah, the Thunder Spirit is nasty, but
Mm-hmm.
but still, my favorite part out of that whole action was Pete, man. Like she was just
I
going
had to
off.
give Pete an A. She get an A.
You know, she really was on battle mode, and you know, even she even acknowledged acknowledges Levi as the captain. You know what I'm saying? Other people that she's working with. I even like her Titan design, like when she's out of her form. You know how like a lot of people have the scars under their eyes. She has the scars on her cheeks and stuff like that. That's pretty dope. But
See, the difference is Pieck actually look good with her scars though.
but then we constantly still see the rumbling, and you know I really like this one scene where they highlight this woman and her baby, and everybody else is falling down this off the cliff, and everybody's trying to keep the baby up and stuff like that. That was fucking visually great storytelling and stuff, and like Armin's going crazy because he's thinking he's dead. He's like, wake up, and he just realizing that he's in the paths, and then you know, he sees Zeke there, which ends chapter 3. Then we go into chapter 4, a long dream where you know Zeke is having this whole conversation with Armin, which is a very important conversation. Like the more and more I watch it, it's like it's interesting. Kind of just
real quick
go
before
ahead.
we go, because I want to make a comment on that rumbling part. Zach had brought this up earlier about the depictions of the rumbling being equated to horror. And I like the fact that they went back to that scene of the rumbling happening and the baby being passed and things of that nature, because it reminded you the stakes of what's happening. So it's not just this great battle between Titan shifters and scouts on Aaron's back. There's also a horrific event that's taking place. And I'm glad they took a moment to depict that, just to kind of set the audience expectations for what's at stake here. I thought that was just a really well done context piece to the entire story.
And I want to piggyback off what you just said, because that was brilliant. What you said, it shows the brilliance of the show. A lot of times, anime, comic book content, sci-fi content will show the great battle, but won't show you what they're battling for. And I think, to your point, the fact that they went back to the rumbling, I think a lot of people could show, no, I want to see the fighting, but it really shows you they're fighting because this is actually happening right now. Let's not forget why. Because honestly, in the midst of all this craziness, I forgot the rumbling was happening.
Right.
So when they went back and showed, I was like, oh no, this is still happening. People still getting trampled.
Right.
So yeah, I think that it really heightens the action and shows you like, okay, we need to get this done faster. Like humanity's almost done.
But yeah, I think, and also I do agree with both guys' point. And I think what a lot of people might have assumed was that, you know, all the rumbling Titans was like literally following behind Aaron. But, and you know, this show, people forget, you know, when you look at those little segments where it paused and it's just like Isayama telling you, this is the female Titan, blah, blah, blah. She can do this, 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 and this. There's times when they really tell you how long, what they tell you how long the walls are. And those walls are larger than we think they are. And so it's like down to past the thousands of Titans that are walking this whole planet at the same time. And so, you know, a lot of people try to think like, they're all following behind Aaron. Like, no, they're literally walking in all these different distances. Aaron just told them, I'm going this way. Y'all go there. Just keep walking until y'all get to the end. Just walk. That was crazy. And
yeah, they were showing that little clip of him talking to was it Yelena, and talking about the different spots and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, I did want to say this too. All the Alliance members are lucky that Aaron has the mentality he has, because Aaron could have easily, you know, let's say if this wasn't Aaron in his position, let's say it was a different Marlene Eldian that had this drive to do the rumbling. If it was anybody else, they would have definitely took away their Titan shifting abilities. Probably use the power to suppress their minds and stuff and force them to not even come fight and just execute the rumbling. Aaron did play it fair and he gave them an even playing field. He didn't take away their abilities. He didn't try to manipulate them and tell them to don't come fight me. He allowed them to do what they wanted to do. And if that means he has to, if that means his friends has to jeopardize his freedom on doing this rumbling, he was going to allow
it. True.
Yeah.
All right, so to the next chapter. Give me a second. That is called A Long Dream, which I thought this was really dope. Just this whole conversation between Zeke and Armin and stuff, and Zeke pretty much kind of giving Armin kind of like the backstory and everything, like how the world started, and the whole Ymir thing, and he's just defeated at this point. You know what I'm saying? He's just down in the dumps. He doesn't got really no confidence, or he doesn't even want to try until Armin starts to talk, and he starts to kind of spark something in him and sparks stuff into other people that are in the past and whatnot. But what are you saying, Doc?
Well, if you look at and it's why with Zeke, what he was talking about, I don't fully agree or disagree, because in this moment they was really talking about what's the meaning of life, what is the goal in life between species and stuff and what they do. Zeke, before Armin started talking to him more and he started noticing the ball, Zeke was really down to like, well, our goal as a species is to just repopulate and continue the species, which isn't exactly wrong, because it is in our nature as people, and this goes for dogs, ants, lions, whatever. It's in our nature to survive and want to continue. Like, nobody is looking to just die. People want to continue and keep moving forward, right, as a species. And that's what Zeke boiled it down to. And that's what the hallucigenia, which started all of this and put itself on Ymir, that's what its goal is, to reproduce. That's it. It just wants to reproduce. It has no greater goal in life. It just wants to reproduce. It needs to continue things, just continue the population. But Armin, in contrast, him was talking about that human connection, right? And when they showed the scene with the tree of Aaron running forward, Mikasa falling back on purposely to allow Aaron to win, and Armin absolutely losing, Armin was just glad to be there in the moment, right?
Yeah.
That he was glad to be there, have that connection with Mikasa and Aaron, and that's when Zeke started realizing, I mean, shoot, I mean, I remember that time when I was playing ball with my daddy and stuff.
That was crazy because when Armin's holding up the leaf and stuff, like Zeke is looking at seeing the ball, he's seeing the baseball. But that was crazy.
But I said, it's no definite on what it is, but both of them was not wrong in a way of like what it means to exist. Because we are looking for a connection, we are looking to continue the species, but how Zeke was looking at it, and I think that's why it fueled his plan of like, let's end the Eldians for good. Let's not allow them to reproduce. This falls in line with his, thought process here. Like, because he thought, I forgot what he said. He was somehow suffering and stuff, and how it worked into his whole little thought process.
Yeah, he started talking about Ymir as well, as how she created this immortal body and stuff like that, and like she kind of created a world where you don't die and stuff. Like, that's pretty crazy, and she's been doing that for like 2,000 years.
And that's what Armin was theorizing, because he was theorizing like, looking for a human connection, and that's probably what Ymir was looking for, some type of connection. That's why she opened up the paths, allowed other shifters to come in there to maybe find something, to get something out of it.
Right. Guru, how you feel about this whole interaction? Is he here?
I think he's here.
He trapped in the past right now.
Who?
No, I was asking you how did you feel about
Oh,
this whole interaction between Zeke and Armin?
oh, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Really, honestly, I really wasn't digging it too much. I thought it was great depicted in the ways that y'all just broke it down. But in my mind, I make a comparison to Armin's conversation with Aaron later on in this episode.
Yeah,
And I really, really, really love that. So I like this a lot. But giving Zeke a fucking pep talk. I mean, honestly, I really don't. I don't like the outcome of what happened here. Now we know, basically, Zeke gets a fucking pep talk. He's down in the dumps. He gets a fucking pep talk, which he really shouldn't have needed a pep talk because Zeke's dad told him that Aaron gets what he wants from this point on. So
hmm
you need to stop with the bullshit. You don't win. He told him that.
yeah.
In my line, he told him that. He said, bro,
Nah, you're right.
Aaron wins from this point on, bro. You need to stop. So the fact that, Zeke is all on his knees crying and soaking and stuff, and then Armin gives him a pep talk, and then Zeke leads the cavalry. I mean,
Because
that's
that
fine.
is a part of his ability, like he can control Titans and stuff like that too. So
Yeah,
him be
it
able to
works.
kind of he's able to kind of get some type of um power back in that moment, like because of Armin and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
and he is also we have to factor he is also of royal blood too.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
but I see what you mean.
yeah, we talked about this, the way he surrenders himself to to Levi at the end, and I don't know if you're gonna touch on that later, but I just
We will.
I just didn't really like some of these final moments for Zeke. It works big picture and it works within the context of the story, but I just don't like a sulking Zeke getting a pep talk. It's just not. It's when I say I don't like it, I just don't like the entertainment value of it. Like I'm
When I
just like,
when I
okay, let's just move on.
when I look at it as like him, because he knows he done some fucked up shit. Even when he's like he comes out of the Titan and stuff, he's just like, damn man. He's like, I wish I didn't have to kill all these people. I didn't have to do what I had to do and stuff. And him, even that moment with Grisha and stuff, like him saying like, I thank you, Dad, or just like kind of making amends with him a little bit like that. I thought it was really dope. I think over time you might grow to like it more. And we're gonna talk about the Levi stuff and whatnot because that was do I got it here? Hold on. Yeah, we can talk about the Levi stuff now because I don't know if I got the.
I ain't gonna lie, I kind of wish Levi let Zeke suffer a little bit more. But I want him to just stab him multiple times, just get in there, like man, he killed your
Mission
boy.
it's mission accomplished though at the same time.
I
You know
know,
what I'm saying?
I'm not saying it's not, but I just wish he let it stay a little, he just.
It felt anticlimactic. We had a bunch of conversations about this in the Discord, and even going back to when I read the manga, this is exactly how he's defeated in the manga. And what I distilled it all down to was it would have been better if Zeke wouldn't have popped out and said, "Hey, I'm over here. I'm the one you're looking for," because it's such a surrender. And I believe it would have been better if he just pops out, has those introspective thoughts, and then boom, out of nowhere, Levi kills him.
I agree.
I would
You
have liked
see?
that better.
Yeah, so that way it's kind of like mission accomplished and everything, but it's not such a surrender. It's not like I'm giving myself up, and it's so on the nose. So it feels still a bit of a rivalry between the two.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of the issue I had with that, but I still think the Beast Titan, the Zeke versus Levi rivalry is like the peak rivalry and the best fought rivalry in the series. I just think the ending, it didn't live up to the actual rivalry. That final blow didn't live up to the rivalry.
Could have been
I think,
executed.
like I said, I think over time you'll warm up to because like watching part one, like and like them talking about how they're going to defeat Aaron and Levi's the only one that says like, "Yo, we got to kill Zeke." Killing Zeke is going to stop the Titans, so it's just like you got to get, what I'm saying. So that ties into things, but I understand I completely agree. Like they could have done something completely different, but what Zeke just kind of says in that moment and the stuff that goes on in the past, I feel like it kind of makes sense for his character. Just saying, like, I wouldn't say it was necessarily like a surrender, but
Oh,
him
it's a
kind
surrender. He said, "Hey, I'm over here," waving his hand to Levi.
of
I mean, that's.
yeah, but
I mean, what did he
but
want to ride, or what was he doing?
I'll say that
nah.
like for that
Go
scene,
ahead, Zach.
the most mixed I'm on, because for me, I think the conversation between Zeke and Armin came at a perfect time, because I've always had this internal dialogue to myself about how I'm kind of tired of characters, like when they're on their deathbed or they're in a fight and they're getting ready to die, they have to think about their loved ones to survive. And the conversation they had was kind of like, just survive just for yourself, or just to experience life. You don't always have to survive to multiply or to go see your girlfriend again. And they kind of had that discussion there where Zeke was like, yeah, this is what we live for human interaction and all this stuff. And Armin was like, no, the world is beautiful. And that's why you should live for. And I thought that was pretty dope. I do find it weird that this character that we've been watching and how trash of a person he was, for him to flip the switch and kind of like you're saying, like surrender. I do think what you guys were saying about it, him popping up, saying to himself, having that internal dialogue about like, wow, look how beautiful the world is. I can't believe I was doing this. And then, having this like change of heart, but then Levi just come and chop his head off because it's like, no.
That,
You can't
but
get
I say,
no.
but I would say, that was always like, if we never got that like backstory on Zeke, then I'd be like, yeah, it would be like a weird turn. But like when we got like his whole backstory in the earlier half of the final season and stuff like that, it made completely more sense. It's like, oh, okay, so he's not completely, he is completely numb to this shit, but like he had good intentions. You know what I'm saying? Like, but everybody thinks that they're doing like, they're doing the right thing, but it's like, even look at Reiner. You know what I'm saying? Like, Reiner just wanted to be the hero and stuff like that
But see,
for his
Perk,
family.
that's why I said when Levi pulled up on Zeke, he should have held on to him and stabbed him at least like 20 times, at least for all his dead.
Nah,
homies.
you gotta make it quick. You gotta make it quick, man. We not letting that motherfucker slip away again. Like,
no. I mean, get him, but like at least stab him a good 20 times, because like when Zeke was over there throwing them boulders, talking about catch.
Yeah, Zeke was
all the
wilding out
dead
with the boulders
homies,
now.
the dead homies, and Levi just do it one, like, nah, stab him.
He's a nihilist.
Nah, I get it.
He's
I think in the
nihilist.
moment there's no way for him to like. He was hurt. He was already busted up, and also there's so much going on, and so many people are dying. In his head is like, I just gotta take him out. Like, he wasn't thinking about the torture aspect at that point. If this was more of a calmer situation, he would have 100% threw him in a dungeon and tortured him.
Yeah, they don't got no time. They don't got no time, because then as soon as he cuts off his head, you know what I'm saying, the rumbling stops. You know what I'm saying? But then
those 20 stabs, 100 more people would have died.
John's able to get the explosives around Aaron's neck. He kind of like stops for me. He's like, "Oh, you crazy bastard!" And the boom, and then shit goes dead. Go ahead.
Real quick, let me ask you a question, because we know. All right, so Ymir is basically the god of the Titans, right? And the reason she even continued doing what she was doing was because she still felt like she was a slave to the king and her family and stuff. And now, even though it was a person of royal blood that enacted the Rumbling Titans to be created, do you guys think Ymir could have turned those Rumbling Titans right back on and had them get up and keep walking? Or even Eren, since he was technically innocent, sharing the power? He didn't have the royal blood connection, but do you think Ymir could have just turned those Rumbling Titans right back on?
No, because it's like because the whole royal blood, I think, plays a big factor in it, because of King Fritz and that connection and whatnot. But yeah, just to kind of get through this last bit before we get to the final chapter. John puts the explosives around. Explosives go off. You see Aaron's head falling down, and then like Armin is saying like, "Yeah, see you later, Aaron," because he's about to transform and blow him the fuck up. That was awesome. I
wish-
love that.
One part, Guru could probably back me up on it. There was a part they left out. I think it was a panel in the manga where they have like a long shot of Aaron's head as it fell. I wish they showed that. They did show his head on the ground and stuff. They kind of blocked it out with Reiner trying to stop the hallucinogenia. That is big panel shot in the manga of Aaron's head just in the crater. I kind of wish they showed a shot of that.
Yeah, I wish they would have worked that in.
Yeah, they showed a little bit of his head falling, but not like they didn't spend that much time on it. But then when this was,
but see, that's what I'm saying. They had that whack nigga Reiner blocking it and shit, trying to stop. But Reiner putting in work. He was putting in work. He was putting in work. He was putting in work, but I said he was putting in work. He was stopping at hallucinogenia.
But I like how all this stuff was going on at the same time. You have Historia giving birth, and just. And then the hallucinogenia coming out of the ground, trying to reconnect with Aaron and stuff like that, and Reiner's trying to stop that. It's a lot of shit going on at the same time. They have like a brief moment where they thought it was over and stuff like that, but nah, it just gets worse after that because then they realize that Aaron comes back, on some Undertaker shit.
I forgot
who said, of course.
I'm not sure.
Of course he's coming back.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's that fish name, but Aaron got to be called the Doomsday Titan. That was a fire return. Seeing him just come out the ashes and do that
as like a colossal titan, yeah. And then you see everybody else transform. Like John and Connie had that moment, like I guess this is it and whatnot. And that was so fucking dope. Just kind of see their titan forms, and Reiner's just like his PTSD is at like an all-time fucking high. Like he's probably thinking to himself like, I should have pulled that trigger back at episode 3 of season 4 and shit. Like, what I'm saying?
That's what's so poetic about this whole situation. And Isayama shouts to him for his foreshadowing and even executing on his foreshadowing that he set up, all the connections and stuff. That very thing Aaron was mad at that came and destroyed his home, he is that right now, and he's using it to destroy the world, trying to destroy the world. Like it is so poetic. It's so
everything's full circle. Everything's full circle.
It's messed up, but it's just beautiful how Isayama connects this up. This is his first official story that he's doing. Like he drafted stuff. This is his first official story he's doing, and he did this good. Yeah, this is his first official project ever, and he did this on his first try. This man is good.
Yeah. And then literally the colossal titan now. Like he's literally.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't think about that either. Yeah, that's crazy.
He's the very thing he sworn that he was going to destroy, and when we get to the end where him and Armin talk, it just shows how in a little bit hypocritical he is. And how this show did go full circle with some things like this. It's so good.
And I do have questions about the ending because some things I wasn't confused about. So I definitely have questions for you guys.
Yeah, we'll get there. So Armin and Aaron are fighting it out. You know what I'm saying? Then Mikasa kind of gets this little, voice message in her head from Aaron saying because that's very much all. That's what he was doing, leaving people voice messages and stuff like that.
But see, I wonder when he had this conversation with Mikasa, because we know when he had his with Armin's. I wonder when he had his with Mikasa, because I don't remember in any of the prior episodes where Mikasa had what Armin had, where we thought where it was a clear indication. Okay, Aaron talked to him. So I wonder which point that was, but it was before the final battle.
Yeah, and I like you talk about full circle moments, like when Aaron goes up to Mikasa, and this is like, yo, why are you crying? Just like how Aaron was crying in the very first episode. You know what I'm saying? And he's pretty much saying like, you're gonna live a long life. And it's like he's showing her what things could have been. Like if we just didn't do the rumbling, and I just lived my last 4 years with you and stuff like that, and that was so fucking dope. And he's just like, when I die, I just want you to forget about me and shit, and just live your life.
And see, that's why, even though Mikasa loves Aaron, right? she made the right decision by not being honest to Eren about her motivation. Because if they did do this, Marley would have came and took over. They would have lost. So even though Mikasa does love Eren, in a way, she didn't know if this was going. If she didn't know if her not saying "I love you" or not was going to change anything, she just made the right decision in that moment to not say that, because it would have changed things, and this could have been the next possible outcome. And that's why, in a sense, she was able to do what Ymir couldn't do. That's why Ymir looked to her like, the strength she saw in Mikasa is what she wished she had, and that's why when there's those flashbacks and you see, King Fritz dying and she's holding her daughters and stuff, right?
Perfect scene. That was one of my favorite scenes. That little bitty scene right there helps tie the entire story together for me. When I read it initially in the manga, I had a lot of questions about the end, and I actually didn't like the ending because I was like, I didn't really understand what was Ymir's purpose, her point. I didn't get the whole Ymir piece. But that scene right there with her hugging her kids and allowing King Fritz to actually be killed instead of her jumping in front of the spear,
right?
That it connected everything for me. Now I understood what Ymir's mindset was, and it kind of tied the entire story together for me.
And she also had it's true, she had Stockholm syndrome. She actually fell in love with her abuser and person that held her down, which doesn't happen all the time, but we see people in real life that be in abusive relationships, and they have this weird love for this person that keeps hurting them, and they just stay in it. And Ymir was that,
and she was the cause of her headaches and stuff. But I liked how that transitions into the best and last action sequences, and they saved it for the Ackermans. That was that's poetic. That's poetry right there.
Oh, that final shot with them was dope. The only thing I'll say, I wish the Colossal Titan fight was a little bit longer, just a little bit. It was short, just a little bit longer. I wanted to see Eren suplex Armin real quick.
Nigga, who's gonna do all that?
Well, I'll say that maybe that's one of my only negatives with this. I know a lot of people joke about oh my God, there's 17 million parts of the last season. But I do wish maybe that this was split into 2 episodes, so we could have gotten those suplexes and those stabbing of 20 times of people, and more time to talk here and there, and a little bit more of the aftermath of seeing people happy. Because after of so much darkness through the series and only a little bit of light throughout, it would have been nice to see them kind of be happy for a little bit for 20 minutes.
Nah, this ALT. You don't get no happy. There's no happy nothing. You get no happy nothings. But this whole sequence was so fucking dope. Levi using the Thunder Spears, he's already fucked up. He fucked up his leg and shit like that. He's done. This is all he can do. And then Mikasa goes in for the kill. And I'm not gonna lie, bro. That shit was that's when the stairs started to cut. Kind of get worked up a little bit. I was like, man. My nigga's really dead. And then we get into the controversial final chapter. I don't know why it's controversial.
I'll be honest, can I say this real quick?
Go ahead.
A lot of the manga people, and I figured this was the case. And to be fair, when you draw stuff and when you're doing comics and manga, there's only so much you can put inside these little boxes to convey some stuff. And I think this is why I'm glad the anime even exists, because it was able to flesh out the stuff that people had issues with. And to be fair, I think the only issue with the manga is really fleshing things out. There's only so much you can do and draw to convey so much in these boxes.
But now I understand what Isayama's talking about. He's like, I didn't know how to really end this, or just right.
And
he had to apologize to Mappa and everybody. I was like, I don't think you don't need to apologize, bro. You good, bro. It's not that deep. But I can understand. He puts a lot of effort into this, and people are disappointed or look at it a certain way. But I think with the anime, just based on what I heard from the manga, it's definitely it's gonna take some people some time to understand this ending and stuff. Because to me, I understand just after watching this series multiple times, like I had a feeling that I didn't know it was going to end exactly like this, but like everything that was building up to it, it just made sense for this story to kind of play out and stuff. And that leads us into the final chapter. And I loved how this was kind of depicted, starting off with Armin and Aaron, as kids, just kind of having this conversation. And Armin's like, "Yo, did you really have to like punch me like that, beat the shit out of me? Did you have to really put like kick me in the stomach like that, bro? Was it that serious?" that was funny, and you know what I'm saying. And this is how I always look at Aaron. He's always been this little ass kid. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always been this little ass kid. And I thought that was really interesting that they kind of showed that, and they're going through all these kind of different memories and stuff like that. And that scene that you saw with Ymir and King Fritz and stuff that you were talking about, K Dot, earlier, that was shown in here as well. And they're just kind of traveling through time, and this is where we get that kind of reveal that Aaron was the one that kind of put everything in motion, even sending the Smile Titan to his mom, which was crazy. Like that's
Crazy.
crazy.
And real quick, I do want us to comment on that.
Mhm.
And to be fair, on Aaron's part, it wasn't even that intentional, because whenever point in time he was able to find, because mind you, the way time works is, well, the way time works with his Titan and the founding Titan, mind you, he already has a Titan that sees, it can see into the future in a sense, but it can only see so much. And then you give him the founding Titan, which gives him power over and dominion over all Titans and time and stuff and everything. And that just caused everything to happen all at once, past,
Yeah.
present, and future. So in his case, he's a mortal, being and stuff. Our minds can only comprehend so much. We really only, as much as we remember the past, our mind is really focused in the present. We're really focused into the here and now. We can't really comprehend the future because we can't see the future. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So Aaron seeing everything all at once like that, it's like, yeah, kind of you can kind of understand why he ended up doing what he did, because he doesn't fully understand what he's doing. He can't even comprehend what he just did. He's seeing everything all at once. Everything is all jumbled together.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's why I kind of wish, just for clarification, just to clarify it even more, I kind of wish Isayama had them put in the scene where he's seeing all these events of time, and it's all jumbled into different pieces.
I got a question about that, and I don't know if this is technically a plot hole, but it is an interesting point. Being that Aaron sees everything, basically time as a circle for him. We watch the show as audience members in a linear perspective from the beginning of the rumbling, or the beginning of the attack on the walls to the rumbling. But to Aaron, it's all one big circle. It's not linear. Okay.
Right.
But if we go back to the cave, and when Hysteria was deciding on whether to turn into a Titan or not to eat Aaron, that was Hysteria's decision. He didn't influence that decision at all at that point. So what I mean by that is, what if Hysteria would have decided to turn into a Titan and eat Aaron and take the founder from it? Is that something that he would have accepted, or is that something he wouldn't have wanted to happen? Because he had to allow her to make that decision, because we see he didn't influence that decision the same way he influenced Grishna to take the founder.
Yeah.
He didn't influence Hysteria not to inject herself. So
I think
she had an active choice in what she wanted to do.
I think,
But that's
I think.
But hold on, that's the whole point, though. Like like the whole theme that nobody really has like free will. Everything's like kind of predestined already. Everything's kind of set in motion. Like they really don't have that control and stuff like that. Everything is like because of Ymir and stuff. Like she's really like orchestrating everything. But
because I think regardless, and this is why I say some of it is Aaron and some of it is Ymir, but collectively it's almost both of them orchestrating the stuff to get it to this certain point. Because I think if Historia somehow is able to deviate from this plan
overall, Ymir would have probably jumped in with like, no, I need you to do this, right? But that is the thing too, because if Historia did eat Eren, that basically destroys his whole plan.
Right.
But even then, if Mikasa did say to Eren, "I love you," that still would have deviated from the rumbling. So in a way, I say it could have been changed, right? But with the way Ymir did her work around and set things up, and also Eren coming into play, it was able to get this on track. Because I think at most the only thing Eren could have done was guarantee that every Attack Titan shifter lives long enough and keeps himself safe to get the Attack Titan to Eren. Right? They do their part. You get the Attack Titan to Eren. I'm only going to tell you so much. Like when he told Kruger about Eren and Mikasa, right? That's all. He really just knew, protect Eren and Mikasa and pass on to Grisha. And Grisha saw the rumbling and all this stuff, and Eren just showed him just a little bit, right? But get the Titan to me because I need to get it so I can bond with the founding Titan and talk to Ymir and get her out of this state of mind or whatever.
Now
So,
remember, Kenny cut Eren's forehead and said, "Y'all, you're gonna have to have a fighting chance." So I'm gonna give Eren a fighting chance. So we cut Eren's forehead. As Hysteria is deciding to make her decision, she looks up at Eren and she says, "Well, why haven't you transformed yet?" And that kind of helped her make her decision too. Like, well, if he not gonna fight, then it just seems as if, I guess to distill what I'm saying down, to boil it all down, it seems as if Eren gave Hysteria a choice to actually end it all. Like if she would have decided to turn into a Titan and eat her, he would have let her do it.
Yeah,
But,
he would have.
But what was interesting, like, the lines of dialogue that Eren was talking with Armin about, saying like he's gone through all these different scenarios and he's been trying to see if he could change certain outcomes, and it always just and this is always the path that was destined and stuff like that. And that's why I really like this like kind of final scene that they have with each other and stuff like that. And a lot of people are controversial, like felt there was like a controversial scene with him like kind of expressing how he felt about Mikasa and just other people that he loved. But I was like, no, that's Eren's character. Like he's putting on this front for a reason. Like if you're paying attention to like how he's introduced in season 4 all the way up to this point, it's just like it's all to kind of push his friends away, make himself the villain, and make his friends the heroes. And so that was always his.
And he's suppressing himself. He's suppressing his actual personality and everything like that to get, because he knows if he acts like himself, he won't get the job done.
Right. And I always go back to that scene in episode season 2, with Reiner and all of them in the tree, and where like Ymir is telling him, is like, yo, you gotta keep your emotions in check, because like you remember, like Eren used to always be a hothead and stuff and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's why Levi always had to put that knee in his head and shit, like beat his ass sometimes and whatnot. But but that was all part of his plan, and him breaking down exactly what he did or what he's going to do to Armin, like because with there being like what was it, 80%. He's trampled on 80%, and I put that into like in our time, like if there's like what 8 billion people on Earth now, 7-8 billion people, like if 80% of people, if the rumbling would happen in real life here, that's like almost 6.5 billion people. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy to really think about. Like,
yeah,
you can see,
is that the biggest genocide we've ever seen in an anime?
Yeah,
possibly, yeah.
Other than like a world blowing up, like not like world people blowing up the world, but like a regular people who.
Because I'll say Dragon Ball still got bigger genocides, but
when Frieza blew up, when he blew up his planet.
Well, I'm saying like for regular people that can't blow up planets,
right?
Regular people.
I'd say it's probably the biggest, but I think Berserk.
Berserk went crazy.
Because I heard Berserk had a similar like genocide.
The eclipse.
I don't know how big it was, but I heard Berserk had one. I don't know how much it compares to Eren's though, but Eren's is probably the biggest we've seen from
this perspective.
Very
Yeah,
violent too. Not like a magical thing or like you said, people blowing up planets. And no, this is like trampled 80% of the, you know what I mean? Like
mhm.
literally
Like
murdered in
giant
cold
tanks
blood.
just rolling over people.
And the fact that
Right.
he said like, yo, like there's the same amount of people on Paradise on Paradise than there is now. Like, so he kind of just evened the playing field. That shit's crazy. He
Yeah.
did some Thanos shit.
See
Yeah.
what he did, and that's why I say Aaron did play it fair. He took away all the Titan power because he could have left it. Honestly, he could have passed and still kept it in place to where people live only 9 years, and the Titan shifters get passed around. But he made it fair. He allowed the Eldians to have their time to rebuild themselves, but he also took away their biggest power, which was the Titans, the rumbling,
Mhm.
all that. So,
Right.
it's messed up, but it's fair.
But what I really like about this scene the most is the visual storytelling, like where it's just water at first, representing like the sea, them being at the sea and whatnot, and then that sea turning into a sea of blood. It's just
Mhm.
man, and then I know Guru's mentioned it that the whole leaf and what I'm saying where Aaron pulls up like just what was it just hair and dirt and stuff like that, and then Armin pulls up the was it seashell the
Mhm.
seashell something like that and that show scene was kind of heavy right there and
It was the
Armin just
dialogue for me.
yeah
See,
go ahead
this scene is actually my favorite scene in the entire episode, and arguably would account for my favorite scene in the entire series because of the dialogue between the two. I hope the dub doesn't change the dialogue because every single word here is important. Basically, Aaron was like, "Hey, this is what I wanted to do. I don't know why. Maybe I'm an idiot. Like, I don't know why, but this is what I wanted to do." And Armin was basically like, "Well, I kind of helped you do it. Like, I put some of these ideas
hmm
in your head and I helped you do it. So if you going to hell, we both going to hell."
that's some
So
homie
it's like
shit that's
I'm
some
your
real
friend.
homie
I'm
shit
your friend. It's like I'm your friend even in this moment because I'm
hmm
gonna take some of the responsibility off of you and actually hold a piece of the responsibility so the guilt is not all on you. I think that is fucking perfect. I think that's
Yeah, I
just the
ever
yeah
saw
perfect way
that.
to tie those two characters up.
You ever saw that skit where it's like, if we run on somebody, my homie's running somebody. Like
yeah
that's
he's like
he
if I
says, I'm
die he
dying,
gonna
you
die
gotta
yeah
die.
yeah that was
That's
crazy
literally what Armin was doing.
yeah but no,
Yo,
the armor is a real day one though that's some real that's
Facts.
some real homie shit right there. Like, saying him saying like, yo, we'll go to hell together and Aaron saying like you won't remember this. You I'm erase your memory of this now, but when it's all over it'll all come back to you and stuff. And it's just like, man, that was
Aaron
such a
really had two goons on him. Like Mikasa and Armin were like goons.
Mhm.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
it was
Yeah.
it was a whole powerful moment in general, like just
Mhm.
that conversation between the two. And I think what I liked about the scene the most was Armin not being completely biased. Like that moment when he popped off on Aaron, like, the way he talked about Mikasa. And then the other part where he he didn't completely just like try to justify everything Aaron did.
Mhm.
No, he found a way to go like, okay, I have some part in this. You're still wrong, but you're
Mhm.
still my guy. As I
Right.
admit you did something wrong, you're still my guy, and
And he,
where you go, I go.
and Aaron acknowledged like he did was wrong, but he's like, this is what I wanted to do. Like he was like, what I'm saying. But I love that scene. And then we
And I
get
love
the
that as a mother. Real quick on the this is
go
what I
ahead.
want to do, because in the sub, that's what he told the little boy too in the rumbling
Yeah.
episode when he pulled him to the side. He said, "This is what I wanted." The dub changed that, and he don't say that in the dub. I was disappointed with that, but that as a character motivation. So there's not no deep philosophical all this sort of shit. It's almost the emotion of the character. This is what I wanted, and I don't even really know why. But this is how I wanted to resolve the Titan issue.
Want to
Period.
level everything. He said, "I wanted to level
Yeah, I
everything."
wanted to level everything. I wanted to see it like this. That's
see, that's
it.
why-
Like, it's not no big conspiracy to it. It's just what that particular character wanted. I feel like that's as good as motivation as any.
And see that's why I say if Isayama, he did set it up perfectly to do a sequel, because this the end. I kind of wish he showed what happened to it, like the hallucigenia. It really didn't show what happened to it. I because that hallucigenia is still its own separate entity. And when Eren passed, okay, it made sense why it didn't have no one else to latch onto, which already was connected to Ymir and everything. But I wonder if they do a sequel, will they explore where the hallucigenia came from? Because that hallucigenia, its goal is to reproduce. It has all these other abilities, like to latch on the beings and allow them to turn into greater creatures that summon from the sky and stuff. It's like, I wonder if there is an even greater deity that made that. Because if you even look at the way the Titans transform, it's a giant thunderbolt that comes down from the sky and gives them these abilities, right? It turns on their powers and everything. And in the hallucigenia, right? Even then, when it's separated from Eren, it wasn't able to do all the godly things that the founder could do. It was very limited. Had to depend on the other Eldians to help him.
I feel like it's like I feel like the hallucigenia is sort of like, I'd compare it to like the Infinity Gauntlet, where like it'll allow you to do whatever you want, pretty much. Because like how Zeke was tell Armin, like she was able to make this immortal body. She created a world where people can't die and stuff and whatnot. But if they do make a sequel, they wouldn't be called subjects of Ymir. They'd be called subjects of Eren now. Because Eren is probably still in the past and stuff like that. So,
well, see, that's why I wonder if that's why I was doing a TikTok live and asking people like, okay, now that this is over, is the paths gone or is it still there? That's what I wonder, because Ymir kind of moved on. Eren, like, we don't really know. Like, I wonder if the paths is even still there in a sense. Was the paths already created prior to Ymir even being, Ymir and the founding and the hallucigenia connecting? Like that's what I wonder.
Yeah, I'm still all right with that, just leaving it open ended.
Yeah,
to kind of just let the audience kind of like think about their own kind of conclusions to it. But like going back to the last few scenes we get, the whole dust settles and Armin's memories comes back, and we get that really the voice acting, man. That's what I said. The dub's got a lot of they got
a when he started crying over, I was like, dang.
Yeah, and I seen on TikTok they got like the behind the scenes. They show like what I'm saying, and of them reading off their lines and stuff, and that's just such a fucking talent. The way that Armin's voice actor just like screams, like, and so you just hear all the pain and stuff. Like Mikasa kind of already went through her emotions, and Reiner's hugging his mom, and I like that. Like Reiner's mom told him, it's like, Reiner's told his mom that I'm not the armor titan no more, and she's like, nah, I don't really care about that. It's like, all I care about is you. That moment was dope. Connie and John seeing Sasha again was really dope. Levi seeing everybody, like from Hanji to Erwin and stuff, and all the that was just like, for Eren to leave everybody like certain messages, except for Peak. Peak's like, damn, I wish I could have had a conversation with him and shit.
Yeah,
but,
I kind of, and they, mind you, they made this like one long movie, and I think it could have went a little longer. I think they could have showed those other conversations between Eren and everybody else. And
I don't think they needed to, because it's just like like just seeing Armin and Mikasa's is like the most important ones, and getting this like.
I'm not saying they had to be as long, but they could have explored it.
And I'm just saying, like, and then like everybody getting to see one last like vision of their loved ones or something like that. Like I said, and Ymir able to just finally be at rest and stuff was really dope. and then we go 3 years into the future. We see little baby Historia, Aaron child or something like that, and they've still got a huge ass military that's based off the Jaegerists
Hold
and
on.
all
Who
that stuff.
child is who baby is that?
That's definitely Aaron's baby.
What?
That's Aaron's baby.
I think something up with that bird and Aaron, because why that bird just randomly just pull on it? I mean, look, animals be doing stuff, but Mikasa ain't have no food in that scarf. Is that
Right.
Aaron as a
Reincarn-
bird? Like, what's going on?
Reincarnation.
Bro, wait a second,
Reincarnation.
though. Who is Hysteria's baby daddy?
It's Aaron. Who else would it be?
Nah, because that baby don't got the same eyes as Aaron.
When did they
I would have
smash?
agreed
I'm
if-
confused. Did I miss something?
Nah, that's Aaron baby.
Nah, that's theories. That's theories.
Bro, who
Like,
we need to
if
go
the-
to
if
Murray?
this
We need
baby
to
had
do
the
an
same
AOT
color
Murray
eyes as
episode.
If this baby had the same color eyes as Aaron, I would agree. Well, I think she does. It kind of looks like Aaron's eyes, but his eyes are like green. Yeah, his eyes are green.
His eyes was green.
Yeah.
Don't mean nothing.
Okay, well,
That's
see, this is my problem. Wait a second now. Wait one motherfucking second. How it can't be Aaron's baby. Because this is what I said before in the Discord. I said if we really think about it, Aaron had touched royal blood 2 times before he touched.
Oh, so if he clapping, his shit go.
Yeah. So if he clapping fucking Hysteria, he all up in the fountain. He all
So-
in your mirror.
So it is the dude that we be seeing kind of like off to the side. That's probably just his kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay. But I was always under the assumption that was Aaron's kid or some shit. But
Yeah,
who
you're
knows?
right.
because he could have been started the rumbling if that's the case. If he digging off fucking Hysteria, he could have been did that.
Yeah, it is dope that we go 3 years into the future. You know, we see Connie with hair, which I cannot like. That's weird as fuck to me. Yeah, and Reiner's still a fucking Reiner's still a freak bull because like he's just sniffing Ymir's letter and stuff like that. He's like, oh, it still smells like her. It's like fucking weirdo. I like how they kind of like throw a little bit of humor at the last moment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see in purpose. This is why I said I wish it was a little bit longer. I think how it should have kind of ended was Armin and them heading to paradise. They get ready to talk to some of the Eldians and stuff and share their experience. And Armin ends it by saying, "This is our story." Boom. Because
but that's what he did. That's what he pretty much did. Like when they like panned up, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna tell them our story." You know what I'm saying? But
well,
I understand. But like,
if you remember in season 1, right? Remember in the first episode, that person narrating, that's Armin, right?
which one?
Well, in the very first episode, remember when he's talking about?
Yeah.
I think they could have. I kind of that's what I said. I wish they kept that trend from season 2, 3, and 4, because this is kind of Armin telling us the story of what happened up until now.
He's always been like a narrator and stuff like that.
Right. But they kind of died on the narration in seasons 2 and 3 and even 4. Like they stopped having him narrate, which I think they should have kept as a trend up until the end.
But I like this ending because it's like this is what Aaron wanted. He wanted these characters to his friends to live a long life and without having to worry about war and stuff like that. And they were able to live their lives out and stuff like that. They go back to the tree, go back to the very first episode. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I saw hella people chirping talking about Aaron didn't save the Eldians. He should have offed 100%. And I'm like,
he missed the point of the whole show.
Yeah, I mean, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He gave his friends a long life. He ended the Titans, and he protected his island, right? Even though he didn't care about everybody on the island, he protected his island. He didn't have much love for everybody else outside of the world. He was mad when he found out that there was other people that he had to share the world with. And then, just to sum it all up, once you watch the credits, and the credits pretty much confirms how much peace Aaron gave his friends in future
2,000 years.
It probably even more. Who knows? Could have been probably
Not because like that goes back to the first episode. It's like the to you 2,000 years into the future.
Yeah. I mean, but it was a long time though, and they got to a point where like they're creating nuclear weapons and stuff, and that's how they ended themselves again. But Aaron did succeed in what he wanted to do. There's one thing Aaron couldn't do, and he admitted it. Same as Armin, you cannot fix human conflict, because even if Aaron did 100% rumbling on the world, the Eldians could find conflict within themselves. It could have been over some cake or something. I don't know. It could have been over some tea, right? It could have been an Eldian civil war.
My shoot.
Human conflict is always going to happen.
Hell, that's what broke the aliens up in the first place, the Civil War. Between the Titans.
Even look in real life. Like, let's look at America for real life. Look at the Civil War. That's fought between nothing but Americans. You know, when they kind of ran out of enemies, guess what they fought? Themselves.
And that's why I said like it reflects real life, because it's like we can have moments of peace, but then like there's always going to be conflict around the world and stuff. Like
real world, we got 2 wars going on right now that are in the news simultaneously.
Yeah,
one between, and both wars are people who share island, like space.
Right.
So perfect to your point. It's like that will never end. Someone will always be selfish. Someone will always have a different ideal or whatever. All he wanted to do was give his people a fighting chance. I think that's what it is. To multiply at the same rate, you know.
And I think the more that people are like they're on like the negative side of this ending, I think over time, the more they watch it, it'll start to click. Because that's what it started to click to me. Like, because I always pick up on new things that I didn't really it went over my head or just didn't really register with me at first.
Yeah.
But then that's why I really like about the show. So with that kind of being said about part 3, how do y'all feel about the final season overall? I'll start with Zach.
It's something I'm gonna have to rewatch. I think that on a rewatch from beginning to end, this season will be more impactful. Different. Yeah, because in real time, we've had to wait a lot of time in between seasons. So a lot of stuff that you were bringing, I'm like, oh yeah, because it was such a long time from season to season. I don't remember every detail, and every season is packed with so much. But even without remembering everything, I think that they did the right thing to separate this season into multiple parts and also give time for us to process stuff, because so much happens in each part. And I think if I had to binge or watch each week, there was going to be things that I was going to lose and not appreciate as much. So I think that this was a phenomenal season. I don't know if I feel like it's the best season of the series, but it's definitely not a letdown.
Okay. Guru, how you feel about it?
Again, I will have to rewatch it as well to get everything kind of in a streamline. Because there, like Zach,
you rewatched season 3 already, right?
I rewatched season 1, 2, and 3 all together, and I've recently rewatched season 3 again. So I need to rewatch 4. But just on first blush, I would say, I think season 4 to me, it starts off big with the attack on Marley. Then it kind of gets into this whole political kind of character thing for a lot of it. And it wasn't as much action going on as they're setting up the rumbling. But then we get the rumbling. Then we get the 10 out of 10 for the entire thing. So it's just like
memories of the future type shit, like where you're talking to Christian. It's like that back to back, part 2 went crazy too.
Yeah, so I anticipate seeing it all again to have a full feel for what it all is. But I think the way that we did these final 2 episodes that we got this year, I would say season 4 worked out because it finished strong. And we see the Game of Thrones and we see the shows that do not finish strong that we love, but they don't finish strong. And with this, such a strong finish where your penultimate episode is a 10 out of 10 and the final episode can be considered a 10 out of 10 too, that's worth as much as anything. So I got to give it credit for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Dot.
For me, this is my 10 out of 10 season for Attack on Titan. If I had a second favorite, it's probably 2, 1 and 3.
Have you only watched this season once, or have you rewatched it?
I need to watch it again in full, but even with the breaks and stuff we had, like everything up until this point, I haven't had this thing about the season, I haven't had too much issues. This season actually improved on a lot of the stuff I had issues with for the show for a while. Like, you know, Aaron came back and took over his show again. You know, a lot of times people saying like, man, Levi the best character, you know, because the best character. Aaron kind of just mid. Aaron came and silenced all that, took back his show. He became the protagonist and the
I'm
antagonist.
the captain now.
He became Darth Vader.
He did both. Like this was he did in such a great way. Like this season for me, 10 out of 10. I would say the only downside for me, you know, and it doesn't drop the grade, was just, you know, some action scenes could have been a little bit longer, you know. But other than that, I love this season. It's my favorite season of this show.
Yeah, rewatching it, yeah, you're definitely gonna like it. Definitely hits a lot different, like just binging those episodes back to back and stuff, like because things happen a lot faster. Like when you watch those episodes instead of like watching weekly, like shit happens very quickly. Like from the very beginning, going into like Reiner's backstory with the episode 3, that was fucking fire, and the whole conversation between Aaron and Falco was fucking crazy. The Declaration of War episode, the assault episode, you know what I'm saying? The Children of the Forest, which I think is a very important episode, which was like what, episode 13 or something like that. The whole interaction with Levi and Zeke in the forest, that was fucking dope. Like
That
once
was
you rewatch
crazy.
it, like it'll start to hit you, and you probably like enjoy it even more. Because like I said, like rewatching, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Just the
This might
whole
be, yeah, this might be the 10 out of 10. I kind of see where K Dot coming from, because if you think about it, 1 through 3 is kind of a prequel to season 4.
yeah,
Season 4
yeah.
could be its own show in a way,
But
you know.
but season four is the real story of Attack on Titan. Though, like, you know, like
Yeah, and everything leading up to it is kind of a prequel to it. So that's shout out to the creator. Like, this is one of the most incredible plots we've ever seen. Like in all of everything. Like, this is one of the most
Not just
incredible
anime.
plots.
Live
Fiction.
action, sci-fi fiction. It's to me, even with all those issues that I said I had, I still think it's my favorite anime of all time now. I've been saying since the beginning of season 3, if they land this shit properly and don't flub it up, which I was scared because all the manga readers were telling me the ending sucked. I was like, this is gonna be my favorite anime because it has everything that I like in a story. You know, like I'm a big fan of zombies. The Titans are very zombie-like, but like to the next level. Then it has
Yeah.
twists and turns where you don't know. Like when you get settled in Attack on Titan, you're like, okay, I know where this is going, and then some shit just shift again. All right, okay. Don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable with the story. Don't get comfortable with any characters. Don't get comfortable with your favorite characters being good people.
Yeah, like because one of the best episodes was in season 2 when, like, you know, you get the Reiner and Bertolt, you know,
my
reveal.
God.
That was the
When I
greatest
tell
fucking
you-
reveal. Like,
Yeah.
Bruh,
that changed
I
everything.
think that's my most rewatch or rewind, I should say, parts, because I could have, because they just casually dropped it. It wasn't a build up. He just pulled him to the side, started talking about it. I was like, what? I hit rewind. No, I'm not hearing that. What?
And then he's like, "How did I not think about that?" Like, it makes sense because you look at their facial features, but
They look like the Titan.
but what Isayama did was smart in the first season. There was a bunch of people. There was a couple people that looked like Reiner, so you could have been like anybody really. So, but Bertolt, I think it was a little bit harder, but like at the same time, it makes sense though, just because
You
the way
see it.
the colossal Titan looks and shit. Like, yeah, it was just fucking phenomenal, and just rewatch it. Like, I gotta rewatch this whole series from the beginning. Now it's gonna hit different because, you know, just how it started and how it ends is just like a whole full circle moment and stuff. Like,
So I have a quick
it's
question.
go ahead.
So with the part where Eren told Armin that he sent the Titan after his mom, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't fully understanding why that had to happen. Like, why did he have to send the Titan after his mom? Like, so at that point, he was already in control of the Titans?
No,
Yeah, I feel like he needed that to happen for him to, you know, set things in motion. You know, so it's just like he did that to his mom, which is fucked up, real fucked up, and just so he can he could tell his past self, you know what I'm saying, like, this is what you need to do, you know, put that battery in his back type of thing. That's how I kind of look at it.
Mm.
Well, because that would also imply that, you know, because at the end of the day, this was all set, right? So either something, and this why I don't think East Adam is going to reveal it. I think something did change in the past, like the way Aaron reacted to him doing what he did to his mom. Because mind you, at the point in the show before it ends, he already knows everything that's going to happen. He knows the past, present, and the future.
Yeah.
And he was still shocked and horrified at it. And it's like, and that's why I say he saw everything all at once and couldn't really choose these decisions properly. Did he really intend that, or was that originally supposed to happen anyways?
Question: at
Like-
the moment that his mama dies
Yeah.
or was eaten, did young Aaron have the founder?
Yes, because
No. Wait. No. He got it
Doesn't
after.
he only have the attack? Oh, didn't he only have the Attack Titan?
Well, he got the attack and the founder basically at the same time.
But
yeah,
he
because
got
his father, because his dad and stuff. Because like he woke up in the woods. He woke up in the woods. That's when his dad switched over.
But as they were attacking Rainer and Boho, that's when Krishna was up there getting the founder.
Yeah.
Right. So at the moment where his mama died, he didn't have any shifter power. I would think. I'm asking.
Or he doesn't. I don't think he tapped into it because like they teased it really earlier on because you remember when he was learning the ODM shit and he cracked his head and his head was steaming.
Right. But
When
that's
they were like
after
sitting
the
around.
initial attack though.
Mm-hmm.
So during the initial attack in the pilot or the first two episodes, he didn't actually have it. The Titan shifter power in those two episodes.
No.
Yeah, nah, he did. I don't think because when we saw him in the woods, he was a little like that. He was at the same age and stuff. He was a little like baby Titan.
Mm-hmm. So I say that to say it would make sense for Aaron, the Rumbling, the founder Aaron, to go ahead and do that to cause that trauma. So he was the cause of his own trauma before he got the Titan. He needed to instill that trauma to complete the cycle, since time is a circle to Aaron. So this is kind of pre-founder stuff. He had to kind of do some pre-founder stuff to himself. So once he gets the founder, he's on the path to the Rumbling. That's how I think that's supposed to be explained.
That's how I looked at it. Yeah, that's how I look at it. But yeah, this was an incredible journey, and just like shout outs to Wit though first and foremost too, because they the ones that kicked this series off. You know what I'm saying? There was like that huge fucking hiatus between season 1 and 2, which is crazy, but it was it was definitely worth it. Some people didn't like season 2, but I was like, you're tripping, because season 2 was really just really tight. They didn't need to throw in a bunch of filler or nothing like that. You said what?
Like season 2 more than season 3 part 1.
I kind of go back and forth with it, you know what I'm saying? Because I really like that reveal, but season 3 has so many bangers in that second half that was just like,
bro, people forget when Levi
Right.
had to choose who to get that fucking shot to. That was a big fucking deal, bro. Was he gonna give it to Armin or was he gonna give it to Erwin? And that was a big fucking moment. That episode is 10 out of 10. I think that's one of the highest rated episodes on IMDb.
Yeah, like that. Those back-to-back episodes were the perfect game. Midnight Sun. I'm missing one.
That whole
something
arc.
hero. Yeah, hero.
That fight,
yeah, it was perfect.
Insane.
It was perfect game, hero, and then Midnight Sun. That shit, those 3 episodes back to back was fucking incredible. You see Aaron fucking taking out the Colossal Titan and shit, like that was fucking great. That was great.
Then you got the Beast and Levi fight in there.
Yeah, that was fucking. Yeah, that was just.
That's a top moment when he pulls him out of the shit.
Yeah.
I remember watching that on my TV and I lost my mind. I threw my PS5 controller on the floor. Or PS4. It might have been PS4 at that point. I don't remember when that came out. I just remember throwing a controller on the floor, like just getting mad hype because the whole time I'm rooting for Eren. He felt like a character like how like Deku feels, and like the guy from Demon Slayer, like this underdog character that people don't take seriously.
Tanjiro.
Just keep overachieving. And at that point, is like he finally did something cool, like Levi and Mikasa.
Yeah, even like his first Titan kill back in like season 2 and stuff. He's like, yeah, I got my first kill and stuff. He's just so energetic about it. But yeah, it's just like so many dope moments. Even like going back to season 1, that just feels it's just nostalgic at this point with season 1. Like that's definitely become like just the nostalgic season. It just like kind of, even though it was a lot of dark, depressing times, it was just like that felt like a completely different show to what we
Exactly. I
got
was about
now.
to
Like
say
it's
that first.
crazy.
Season 1, when I go back and watch it, it feels so
crazy.
different that I can't even really enjoy it fully, because it feels like going back and watching Dragon Ball after you watch Dragon Ball Z. It's like you watch Dragon Ball and it's like, this is cool, but this show becomes so much more that it's hard for me to appreciate a young Goku versus the Red Ribbon Army. It's like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like that.
This is what, and not take away nothing from season 1, but season 1 feels like a shonen season.
Mm-hmm.
And we get down to season 4, you're like, yeah, we're out of shonen. This ain't shonen anymore.
Yeah, it's not your typical battle shonen.
It does feel like it was supposed to be like this thing of Eren being the one that doesn't have the skill and eventually becoming the chosen one to take down the big bad. And they
the other way
went
around.
far away from that plot completely, because way more complicated than that.
They went Evangelion
to appreciate it.
That's why it was such a huge gamble for Isayama to get this show like greenlit, because he went through a drafts, and I'm not sure if y'all seen his early draft of the show, but I think his early draft.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, like what characters were all supposed to be looking like. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's always dope to kind of see that. It's dope to kind of see those like early drafts and stuff.
But see, even in his early draft, which I think has some really good concepts. For example, originally it was supposed to be that the Titans they deal with, they can, when they eat people, they shapeshift into the people that they eat. So they'll break into the villages and turn into Titans and eat them. And it made the villagers more tense. Like in this first season, we saw that after so many years, the Eldians were so relaxed. Like they didn't really care because no Titans ever broke into the walls. Now that the Titans breaking into the walls, they're a little bit more tense. But his first draft, crazy stuff. But I hope at some point he gets to revisit that first draft. Maybe do like a spinoff.
Yeah.
What if Attack on Titan happened like this? That's kind of connected, but it's like a spinoff or like a different.
His original. He was going to kill everybody off at his original ending and stuff. Like he was going to kill everybody.
That's crazy.
But I'm glad he didn't though, because it's like I think that's what people expect. But it's just like you could do more. You could do you could do more with this ending, and then what we got is I think a lot more.
He was going to do a 100% rumbling in the original ending.
I don't know exactly what he was going to do with the run, but he was like everybody was going to die. But
okay.
Yeah. So so many dope moments. The music's been A1. Music from the opening, the openings, the closing songs. They released the opening whatever for this last part separately from the actual anime, and that should look really, really fucking clean and shit. Like, what are you saying, Doc?
I'm low key. So the last 2 songs they did with the rumbling and Under the Tree with Sim, I wish they did the final song. They might as well should just have them do the final song, because that Under the Tree and rumbling those are the 2 best songs out of Attack on Titan. I got those songs in my playlist, and I'm always playing them. They are so
they had Link Horizon do the last opening, whatever, that they released separately. The guys that did the original AOT opening and stuff like that. So that was cool.
I ain't gonna lie, they wasn't cooking like Sim was. Sim was cooking with them last 2 songs.
Yeah, the rumbling is like one of my favorite intros ever. Like that shit, just like, especially like if you got a dope ass sound system or like a speaker or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
That stereo's
use it like how they would transition from like the opening into the shit, like just that drop is just crazy. Speaking of which, let's go around. Like, what were some of y'all favorite openings and music wise and stuff? Like Guru. Like,
I'm trying to think. I mean, the rumbling is. I mean, that's like that's the whole thing. Like, you don't get no better than that, in my opinion. Like
the OG opening,
oh yeah, the OG. Oh yeah, the OG.
or
OG.
Sasanio, that was season 2. Sasanio. They had so many fire
Oh,
drops. I like Red Swan. Red Swan's still my favorite from season 3, the part 1 of season 3.
Now one of them was kind of pussy. What was the one that was like all soft and shit?
That's Red Swan, but that was dope. Nah, that was dope though. No, Red Swan is dope. That's just
I think you might be talking about the first one,
you gotta watch it. Yeah, from part 3, but
Yeah,
not part. I mean, season 3, part 1. Like Red Swan was fire. That whole symbolism, like Aaron kind of like out of it with his kid self, like what I'm saying, like that shit was fire.
I like season 1 and season 4. I like that, and I like the rumbling. But me personally, I thought that season 3 when that was kind of pussy. It was too. It just sounded too soft.
The first intro from how they kicked off season 4, the war jump, that was cool. That had to grow on me. It had to grow on me. It was very catchy, but it had to grow on me for sure. How about you, Zach?
I think season 1, because I was trying to remember, like, do I remember the song? Because I know it's bad to skip over openings, but I do skip over openings a lot in anime. But I remember not skipping over season 1 a lot because that shit was a banger.
Yeah.
And it's just so iconic with the with anime because it has this like foreboding sound, but also the triumphant sound, which I feel like is perfect for Attack on Titan because it's like, oh my god, everyone's dying, but then it's like little wins here and there. That's kind of like what that theme song represents for me. But when you started humming the season 2 one, the season 2 one is really good too. But I think season 1
yeah, and then it switches up. Like that shit is crazy. Like but even their closing songs are dope too. But like my favorite closing song is the one from season 4, part 2. That shit was fire. So I liked part 1's ending as well too. But yeah, some of the music is just really fire. Kate, how about you? What were some of your favorite or what was your favorite opening?
I think ultimately for me, the rumbling, I would say Under the Tree, but that was an outro for only part 3. Yeah, part 3 of season 4. It was the outro. I wish it was an opening. That's a really good
song. Yeah, that shit was pretty good. Yeah, it was subtle, but it was really dope.
And the fact that it's like that's Mikasa's song and the rumbling is Aaron's song, that's them both speaking about how they feel about the situation. Powerful.
Yeah, even some of the music that they just played with just like as background music, like the shit that you first get, the Call of Silence, that shit's fucking fire with the when Ymir's in the past and stuff in season 2. That's a fire ass song where I forget what the old girl's name off the top of my head when Reiner and them were transforming and whatnot. That shit was fire. They just had so many great tracks throughout this whole entire series and whatnot.
A moment we didn't talk about that was dope, that was shocking and amazing, and that's top 10 out of 10 is when Potato Girl died. What's her name again?
Sasha.
Oh man. That
I talked about that in another live stream, but yeah, you can give your thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. I just remember like, oh my god, they got a victory and they're gonna get away. And of course, I should have known something was gonna happen. It's Attack on Titan. There's no happiness.
Yeah, see, that's trauma. That's why we didn't bring it up. That was some trauma right there.
Yeah,
Sasha got killed. Oh my god, I was mad.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh
That's
my
what I'm saying. When
god.
you rewatch it, bro, it happened so fast. I'm like, fuck. I was like, oh my god.
That's the brilliance of
Somebody
the
should have closed that damn
show.
door. Close that
Moments
door.
that probably would like
And
be foreshadowed really well in the show and like other shows, and it's like this build up. They just do it, and it just shocks you. It goes back to
Yeah.
Rainer Bolthode, the way they reveal that they're Titans, just so casually, and then they just casually kill Sasha, who's been there from season 1.
And shouts to Gabby though, because she's like, I was trying to keep count. She's only missed once. Like she was going for John. That was going to be her second bite, but like she's hit everybody. Like she hit Sasha. She hit Aaron's head off. She smacked
That's
the
crazy.
one titan, the cart titan that was holding Armin and shit. Like I was like, bro, she got crazy aim, bro. Like
Let's
she is
let's
shooting.
talk about this.
It's all good though. You know, at least Aaron took her friends. At least he trampled her home. At
Right.
least you know, at least he didn't let that bullet
Fuck your dead homies.
finish him off. He said, "All right, then you took my head. I don't need that."
I don't need that. It's
Transform.
crazy.
I don't yeah.
I don't need my brain.
And then what Aaron in a way guaranteed, even though he didn't set it all up, he let them Eldians get his get back on Falco and Gabby when they jumped on that plane or that little blip. They jumped them right then and there. They didn't care if they was kids. They jumped them. They deserved it too. Don't
The
Yeah,
one
he
thing
got-
I'll say, you
Go
know,
ahead.
to the credit of the story is, you know, once Gabby killed Sasha, she was a mortal enemy for me. You know, I never thought that you could redeem that character. And somehow the Arthur found a way to redeem that character legitimately. That moment where Gabby was about to be eaten and she was thinking about Sasha and all this sort of stuff. Like I forget how it happens specifically. I'll have to rewatch to get the, you know, play by play. But the fact that they used that moment to redeem Gabby, I was like, I didn't think it could be done. I'm like, you can't redeem a character after something like that.
They
But
pulled off
somehow they
Last of
found
Us
a way
Part
to
2.
do it in a credible way.
Mhm. What are you saying, Zach?
I said they pulled off a Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. Only like only Abby didn't get no. She didn't get no redemption. People still hate her ass.
Yeah, not fully. Yeah, Part 3.
Yeah,
Part 3.
but that's that was really crazy because a lot of people, that was controversial at first. It's like, oh, why are we focusing on these people? Because it's like it's all about perspective. Like we could have started the show with Reiner and stuff, and it still kind of like play out the same way. Like it's interesting, like to kind of see like how the other side of things like view the people in Paradise and how similar they are, but they're very different at the same time.
Oh, remember
know,
when they told Reiner back in the battle, and I think it was Connie or was it John? Like, we're scouts, we don't give up.
Yeah, it was John. It was John.
Yeah, it was John. He was like, we're scouts, we don't give up. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Takes you all the way back to it. Like Reiner, he's still trained as a scout.
Yeah, he's still
That's
one
so-
of us. One of us.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
man. That's just so
And he-
good. That's just so
And Armin brought it back up like later when they were on the ship. He's like, yeah, like we're scouts. We don't know when to quit and stuff. And you know that shit was, yeah. I need to give you some AOT fits.
Yeah, that's just so good right there. That's so character heavy right there.
And Perp, that's why you brought up earlier, thing about perspective, right? And they had to show the size of Marley, they had to show the size of the Eldians. Even though we saw a lot of side of the Eldians more than the Marleyans, you know, it was a while. We have to see it. Because this is why we as people in general, it's why the show is good. It's why we still debate morality. Who has the best morals? Who truly knows what's right and what's wrong? Because a lot of people think killing is wrong. Absolutely, right? But then there's some people that was like, well, it's not really wrong. It's sometimes necessary. You know, if a burglar breaks into your house and you need to defend your family, I mean, if you take the person's life, are you truly wrong? Are you right? Like, what is it? And that's why we still debate this stuff. You know, a lot of people try to make what's right or wrong very objective. You know, in my opinion, right? I think slavery is bad. But there's some people in this world that think it's right. There's still people that do it. You know, they traffic people and stuff. And from their perspective, they think it's okay. I think it's wrong. And that's why this stuff is still so debatable. I'm not saying slavery is okay. I think it's absolutely wrong. But that's from my perspective, my opinion. We can debate how wrong it is because it's clearly wrong. You know, we can really analyze why it's wrong, but some people think it's right, and they have their own justification and reasons on why it's okay, right? That's why with this stuff, you know, Attack on Titan really, you know, really brings back these type of conversations because it speaks so much real life, and it does it all. And this is why when you give people something, especially people, because our brains just like to think about things a lot. You have to be able to bring out a concept and then break it down to where people can understand it. This show, while has so many deep things going on, and it's not to downplay the show, but a middle schooler can understand this show if they really
Yeah,
sat down.
no, that's facts. Cause like I showed my nephew this show like back when he was like 9 years old. He kind of like understood it like a little bit as he was watching. He
Yeah,
got like pretty deep into it. He's like, yeah, I kind of get like he's like I kind of understand like why are they fighting? Like you know he really understands that stuff. So like I'll be curious to see what he thinks about it. Once he gets done watching One Piece and stuff like that. So
Well, let's
you know,
add a
but
piece to that. Let's add something to that because you're 100% correct. You can understand this show if you're in middle school, but then it's still astrophysics. So much so that people like us have to go back and rewatch it.
yep.
yeah.
So it's like it's the surface level was understood, but there's so much going on underneath that even if you understand the surface level, you have to go back and rewatch this show to fully digest everything that you've seen.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Earlier, just like what Perp said, when you talk about in the first season where Aaron cracked his head and it was steaming, while you said that, I literally went back because I was like, wait, his head was steaming? And I go back to it, right? And you look at the scene, go like, and sometimes people would chalk it up to, well, it's just one of those little funny anime things they do for effect. But no, that actually meant something because Aaron could have transformed right then and there. He could have transformed.
Yeah,
and killed everybody.
they do that again. Like when in season 2 when the towers collapsed and like Bertolt's about to bite his hand and shit. Like I was like, yo, that was a dead giveaway. I didn't even see that shit. Like I was like, and it's just like you now like going in there with the knowledge that you know about these characters. It just like, and you see how everything was kind of just layered and just planned out so well from the very beginning. It's incredible, and I think the more people rewatch it and kind of discuss it, they'll kind of get to see that as well, or find something else that somebody else didn't get to see, or you know. But yeah, with that being said, let's just give our final thoughts and wrap this up. Start with Zach. Final thoughts.
Still on mute. I just gotta say, like I was saying before, this is now my favorite anime of all time. It's officially replaced Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter. That was my favorite.
That was your favorite?
That was my favorite anime for a very, very long time.
Even though they wasn't ever going to finish that?
Didn't matter for me. It was just so good. I didn't even need an ending.
It was good. Yeah.
It's so good. But like I think part of it, the fact that this does have an ending, the fact that it has so many layers, like Hunter has like layers, but it's not nowhere near deep. This is a good tasting onion. Like you just keep peeling and peeling and peeling, and by the time you get to the core, you're like you have to pick up the peel parts and like, hold up, I don't really understand this. Let me put this back together. Because so much crap happens in here. There's so many different character arcs. There's so many different, like, usually an anime is like, this is magic. And like, you get to understand this is a magic anime. But this is like aliens and sci-fi and zombies and imperialism and politics and destiny and it's just a love story. Racism at a whole nother level. And all these different things are going on, but it's done in a way and through a point of view that everyone can understand.
Yeah.
To the point of
because it's a human story.
Yeah, I forgot who said it, that like a middle schooler could understand the show. I don't know who said it, but Dot, you were on point. It's just like anyone can watch this. I don't know if I want to show kids this because it's so violent, but if your kid can handle it, I think that they would understand at least the surface level, and then watch it to get as an adult and go, "Whoa, there's so much to this that I wasn't getting when I was 13."
Hmm. Yeah, it's crazy, but Kata, what's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Sucks that it's over. One of my favorite animes. I mean, it's up there with the greats. It's up there with Dragon Ball Z. It's up there. Yes, I'm putting it up there. It's all the way up there with the greats. If Isayama does do a sequel, wait at least past 5 years. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Let this simmer a bit. Make us want more. But when you do the sequel, if he does do it for the next generation. Right. While we're there.
Do not call do not call it AOT the next generation.
But like in the aspect of like, okay, they're bringing back something old. They want to do it for the new kids, but we can also latch onto it and go like, yo, hey, watching with your son and stuff, your daughter.
Call it AOT Resurrections.
Even that
you can have like you can even bring back Aaron and all them. Say they just reincarnated into new people and stuff. They got a whole new threat, and so they could get crazy. People crazy with it.
But yeah, overall, I'm gonna miss these AOT Sundays. I was trying to find a new anime to fill in the Sundays. I got my Goblin Slayer season 2, but that doesn't.
You still watching that? Freak ass nigga.
They're on season 2 right now. But none of it doesn't compare to AOT right now. But
watch JJK, yo. Watch JJK.
I need to get on that.
Yeah, it's just gas. But Guru,
Hollywood need to cook because they need to come with something like this.
Yeah. Guru.
Well, final thoughts. This is clearly my favorite anime of all time. It's arguably the greatest show of all time. It may technically be the greatest show of all time. Like you were saying, it's a love story. It's racism. We got basically a Titan mecha. We got zombies. You got horror. You got it's all in there.
I forgot about the mecha aspect.
Yeah, it's just all in there, and it's everything, everywhere all at once, and it's probably pound for pound, technically the greatest show of all time, and I think that it will continue to live on as such. Right now, it has a huge fan base. It's dawned into the mainstream consciousness, and I think over time we're going to see it rise into ascension and take its rightful place in media. So for me, it's probably the greatest show of all time. It hasn't been acknowledged as such because it's a animation, and that leads me to my next point. In my lifetime, I bet not see no live action Attack on Titan.
It's gonna happen, bro. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be
already. There's already 2.
No, like a real.
I'm not talking about that little shit they did over in Japan. Okay, whatever. In my lifetime, I bet not see not a damn fucking dollar of resources given to a live action Attack on Titan.
No, make it happen.
That to me will be so disrespectful to what we just witnessed. It'll be so disrespectful to what we just witnessed. So that's all. Okay, I'm not against
it. Just
sequels. I want to see OVAs or OAVs, whatever them called. But I bet not see no live action.
No, I'm all for a live action. We don't need one right now. Like 10 years, 15 years from now.
We never need one.
If Hollywood decides to do a live action, and there's a difference between the Japanese and Hollywood America when it comes to adapting people's stuff. The Japanese try to respect adaptations of stuff. That's why you see the mangas, animes are closest to the mangas. The only way I'm accepting an AOT movie, the same way Isayama was involved in this show, he needs to be involved in writing the movie, casting people, all that. He deserves to do that. But we know it's Hollywood. They like to do their own thing and kind of.
You'll make Aaron Black.
Yeah, I got my
Yeah,
problem.
Aaron is a black dude. Well, I mean, we
That
know
nigga
Anya
gonna be light skinned.
Capone is a black dude,
The
so that
whole
brother need to be
Paradise
black.
Island's gonna be black. They just want to drive home the point of racism that hard.
Yeah, it's
Right.
gonna be all minorities, and like all Marley's gonna be white people. Like,
But see, that's the stuff they do. They would do to miss the point. That's the stuff they do to. Even though yes, we experience a bunch of racism, they'd miss the point by just saying, "Well, let's make the whole island of people black."
Here's my thing with live action, and I'm gonna be very, very brief and summarize this as quickly as possible. The problem is in the West, in America, we do not respect animation. We look at it as cartoons. We look at it on the level of Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny, and the way we see things as if it needs to be live action for us to respect it fully. So the fact that it's a cartoon or animation, we don't give it its full respect. That's why we spend resources recreating animations into live actions. And the animated depiction of Attack on Titan couldn't be better. It could not be better. You cannot improve on that by making things 3D realistic. You just can't improve on it from a story perspective, from a character perspective, even from its animation perspective. So why even do it? It's to appease the people who do not respect animation in the first place. That's why I hope they never, ever create a live action Attack on Titan.
I will give you some pushback on that. Obviously, because we've always kind of had this debate like behind the scenes. I still don't think it hurts. You know, the only time like it could be disrespectful, like we'll get a Dragon Ball Evolution, but for every Dragon Ball Evolution, then we get like a One Piece live action, which a lot of people really loved how that turned out, and they kind of were able to flesh certain things out or get to certain things
But
in the
no,
story sooner.
that's not true, Perp. For every Dragon Ball Evolution, we don't get a One Piece live action.
But I'm
It's-
saying, but I'm just saying, I was just like, it just that goes to show you that like if you have people that actually care about what is going on, like that's just another dope piece of media that you can also kind of go to. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a dope live action and dope anime. You know what I'm saying?
that's a
These are very,
contradiction of
very.
terms. We normally don't get dope live actions. Either they're really, really bad or they're barely passable.
But I would say that there
There's a
is
lot
probably.
of F's and D's and a very few C's, and we treat the C's like they're A's because we get so few of them.
But I will say to that though, we've also gotten terrible animes. But then, like this era that we're in anime is just like we've never seen it like at this high quality, this consistent. Like it took a while for them to get there, so it's just going to take time, and it's going to take risks and people that that actually care about it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to have some duds, but like what I'm saying, people are going to look at people are going to look at One Piece and then be like, all right, this is
Avatar show looks good, and the Yu Yu Hakusho looks good.
yeah, Yu Yu Hakusho looks really fucking clean. Like I said, it's just we're going to get bad ones and we're going to get good ones. You know what I'm saying? So over time, the media has to change. Because everybody is kind of like somewhat having superhero fatigue, which I don't really believe in. But there's just going to be something else. It's either going to be video games adaptations or anime adaptations. It's just like the nature of things, of how things are going to go.
Last point on it, because I don't want to take up too much time on this.
No, go ahead.
You already know how I feel about it. But if we look at the Avatar animation that's coming out, live action, that's coming out, the task is to make it better than the flop that already came out. And the way they're going to make it better than the flop that already came out is to make 1-to-1 live action depictions of things from the animated series. Okay, if they're doing 1-to-1 live action depictions to things of the animated series, then why do we even really need the show?
It's not going to be 1-to-1 though, because the creators left because of that. So I
we'll
don't
see.
think it's going to be 1-to-1.
In the trailer. I go 1-to-1 to the trailer because it looked like all of the shots from the trailer were shots directly from the show.
Okay,
because they want to get us hyped and hooked in, and then do some bullshit. It was episode 3.
Okay, if it's a different story, if it's told in a different way, I will give it credibility for that. But what I
Yeah.
suspect, basically coming out of that trailer, is they're going to give us the same show just in a live action depiction.
But
Well, like
but
One
like
Piece. Who's watched One Piece anime? Because I don't watch One Piece at all. But who's watched the One Piece anime and then watched the live action? Did they do one-on-one
me,
with that, or did they change things?
they changed a lot. They changed a lot. Like I said, they got to certain things like the whole Luffy and his grandfather thing. Like that happens like 100 episodes or something like that in where they kind of get right into it. They kind of switch things around. So you could have those cases where they can make certain things better because some people like, oh, I kind of like this depiction on how they're telling the story compared to the anime, or you could have somebody that's never gotten into anime or nothing like that, and they watch the show, like, damn, I'm so invested in this, I'm gonna go watch the anime because that's happened with like shouts to Tank from Spoiler Kings, like where he's like, yeah, I watched the live action One Piece, and now I'm 200 something episodes in the anime and stuff like so. It could kind of work if it's done right, So, but I'm not going to disagree with you, BG, because like, yeah, we don't need it, but at the same time, it doesn't really hurt because we still can always go back to the anime. You know what I'm saying? It's
Fair
just
enough.
like just having more media. Just like why did we need a comic book adaptation of everything? But not everybody reads comics at the same time, so it's just like
Yeah.
another kind of medium for people to kind of just
And
get
to get
into
our
it because
friends that won't watch the animation into it, so we could just share these stories with them and talk to them about it finally. Like that's what the MCU has done for me in terms of like I love the comics. I even love the animated stuff that's close to the comics, but I know that I have certain people in my life that will never watch or read those things. But they'll watch a Marvel movie. And then I can share my love for Black Panther and Captain America and all these characters with them because they'll watch these movies. So I
You know,
kind of get that's where it is.
with that being said, the character is the same, but the stories are completely different. The MCU depictions of the Civil War or the Infinity War, those are completely different than what
1000
actually happens in the comics.
yeah,
1000%. But it catches the essence of it, and that's like I think that's the most important part. You just can't do what comics do. It's just a medium where you can do 32 issues of wild stuff, and movies and TV shows don't have the budget or the time to pull that off. So we got to get like a shortened version of Civil War, a shortened version of the Infinity Saga, and things like that. But if it has the essence and they capture what the most important parts and the character parts, I think it's valid.
I think, and I'll say this. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's arguably my favorite show. It probably is. In some ways, it is my favorite show of all time. And I
appreciate
watched it
that.
turn into a live action adaptation, and it was completely butchered. And I feel like I think Netflix is going to do better than what M. Night Shyamalan did, but it just begs the question: why do we keep going to this well? What is the obsession with turning this story into a live action
Money.
adaptation? And that kind of led me down the rabbit hole of why do we do that in the first place? Why do we continue to say, well, the cartoon was great or the animated series was great, but since it was a cartoon, then we need to turn it into live action to appeal to people who wouldn't watch it otherwise. And to me, I'm like, F those people. Okay, for real, it's like F them.
Yeah,
we don't need to
but
try to
they
butcher
want
the
money.
content to
They
try to
can't
make
say
Yeah,
it.
F those people.
it still does definitely come down to money and greed for sure, without a doubt. Like everything that they do, they just the same thing with the animators. Shit, like they'll work the motherfuckers to death. They like, yo, bro, we don't care about your families, bro. You're gonna sit here and draw this goddamn anime, and you're gonna like it, because it makes us money. So yeah, it's always going to be an interesting, debate to have because I just feel like that's the next step to go. As far as we've already kind of delved into the comic book stuff and video games adaptations are becoming very popular now. It's just like anime is just right there, and
Fair
it's like
enough.
anime is just only going to get bigger too. So it's going to be interesting to see what the landscape's going to look like 10, 15 years from now and stuff.
I think it all depends if these people take the Marvel Disney route or they take the Nintendo route. Nintendo is hands on with what they're doing with their properties, even if they're
Mhm.
giving it to somebody else to produce. And we saw what happened to the Mario movie. It was very faithful to the Mario game. And the Legend of Zelda movie, even though that's going to be live action, which I think is a mistake, is probably going to be very faithful to one of the Zelda movies. I mean, Zelda games, all the trillion versions of them. And I think that if the anime creators get to be attached and be very involved in it, but have flexibility to change certain stuff so it can adapt to live action better, I think that we can get really great anime live action stuff. I just don't think they can make Attack on Titan a movie. It needs to be a show.
Yeah, show would be dope because I just look at like something like Game of Thrones and like I think of somebody like Robert Egger could like definitely capture just that world of like AOT and stuff
Northman?
and just the way. Yeah, that shit's that'd be crazy. But yeah, this has been the final Attack on Titan live stream, the last AOT content ever. It's gonna go down in history. Zach, what you got going? Coming
I'm so
up.
glad I got to do this because everybody's like, "Oh, you want to come to the Marvels live stream?" I'm like, "Bruh, Attack on Titan. I got to talk about this." Ain't nobody else that I know on YouTube is talking about this. This is one of the most important events for me this whole year because I love this show so much. But yeah, for me, I have a bunch of trailer reactions. Well, obviously my channel is Zach Attack Reviews. I have a bunch of trailer reactions on my channel right now, and also a review for the Marvels. And I will be having a review for The Killer that came out on Netflix coming soon. I just watched that this morning, and I've been coming up with my thoughts. I'm going to try to record that tomorrow and drop it tomorrow. And yeah, I just have I have my second edition of Zach Attack News this Tuesday, where I'm going to go over the writer strike being over. So tune in for that.
Yeah, I like the new segment. That's dope.
Thanks.
Definitely go tune in. Make sure y'all sub to Zach, and I know some people from K-Dot's channel popped up in here, but also go sub to K-Dot's channel. Guru will be back for the Perp Show Awards. That will be next month. A date will be announced very shortly, and like next week, you can expect that when I drop the trailer for Channel of the Year. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun time. I had fun with this whole series. It's just incredible. It made me cry. It made me laugh. Had just so many great memories and great discussions with like just other people and stuff. It's phenomenal. But yeah, if you are checking out the replay, make sure you hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all in the next one.